Because she got a great ass. And you got your head all the way up it.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Good screaming, everybody.
I have an excellent idea. Let's change the subject.
Yo!
Oh, she made it.
We're back. Irene's back. Jake's back.
Hola, bicholas.
And I'm back.
It's been 2 weeks. But
2 weeks.
It feels like a freaking eternity. It feels like I haven't streamed for ages.
I know.
It was 1 week. We only skipped 1 week, right?
No. But technically, that means it's been 2 weeks since the last episode.
Oh, right. Yeah, math is hard.
Yeah.
That's not math. That's a calendar. That's just how much weeks work.
I don't. It has numbers. I'm allergic.
Welcome to the show. What's up, all you blockheads? It's a new thing I'm doing.
Blockheads.
Yeah, we're calling them blockheads.
Yeah.
And look at this guy.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Hey, I have an intro. Nice.
Well,
Mr.
you're early. What's up?
Late.
Yeah, I actually got YouTube TV going because I'm on my dad's account. So I have the game on in the background, but I'm not even watching it right now. The Dallas Mavericks, they're up like 30 points. I don't want to jinx it. It's still, you never know, and then if they win, they go to the finals. So my life as a professional gambler is still alive. It's crazy.
Good.
Every time we talk to Narwhal, it's sports now. You guys don't understand. Every time.
It's going to be that way until he even wins or loses.
I'm telling you guys, it was 20-1 odds when I made that bet. So it's just such a long shot, and so it's sweet. It's so fun that it might actually happen.
At this point,
that is exciting.
Isn't trying not to jinx it the new jinxing it? And then
I'll anti-jinx it sometimes. I'll root for the other team. And
you've got to like hyper jinx it in order to like.
It's postmodern jinx.
Jinxing.
The magic of the jinx is real too. This is ancient esoteric knowledge that passed down from the alchemists.
Shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's Egyptian. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. It's good to have the band back together. Look, it's all here. We formed
Yes.
It's like a perfect block. Look at that.
Yeah, it's so nice to be back.
It's a 4x.
What a great team we have.
What's up, everybody in the chat? Guys, if you are out there watching right now, we're streaming on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. We got some Rumblers in the chat as well over there. Good to see you, everybody. Tweet this out or exit out or whatever you are if you're on Facebook.
No, Phil, you can't say that. It's still tweeting.
Exit out.
Real X is fake.
Nobody calls it X.
Exit
what the fuck Elon was thinking.
Oh.
But great to have everybody in chat. We see Alex is here already. Says we is be back. That's right.
Hello.
See you.
Write that word.
Ellie, 40% Zed. Let's see who else is here. Mr. Jed, call me Jed. Good to see you. Edwin is in the chat. Chimera is here. FKA Hyper Wizard says the last 2 weeks really had felt like an eternity.
Oh, who's that? What a weirdo.
Some fucking loser.
Yeah.
Hojo says the title of the stream seems racist. That's exactly what I said seconds after Phil typed it in the chat.
I read it as Phil, mind you, told us the subject. Well, when I read the title on StreamYards, I saw the white hole. That's what I read the A as an O, and I was like, "What the fuck, Phil?"
I love white hole.
I just can't read.
Yeah, we were going to get into it. So if you guys haven't seen the show before, we are comic creators. We make comics and tell stories, and once a week we get together on a channel, one of our channels, and we talk about the creative process, storytelling, and goof off a little bit too.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. But before we get started, we all have to talk about our week, what we did this week.
And what a week it's been.
2 weeks we have to talk about. We have 2 weeks.
Shit.
Oh my
Twice
God,
the most stories to tell.
What the fuck did I even do?
What did you do?
I've been going on frustration walks, Del Keown style, I've been hitting the wall in the creative process, and I've decided, you know what, fuck it. Instead of rolling around in bed in a cocoon of frustration, I could go for a walk. And I've even been doing 2 walks a fucking day. I went outside, I went for a walk, and there was some woman on a phone, some tiny woman wearing like skin tight everything. And okay, she's walking to she wasn't. It was no go. It was absolute no go. No. It was bad.
Did you say her clothes meant that she was asking for it? Is that what you said?
Her clothes meant that I guess it had been laundry day for like 10 years.
Oh, you're saying out of style.
As in she'd been wearing her laundry day nothing clothes for 10 years.
All right.
She looked ragged and haggard. But she was like on a phone and she looked kind of angry. And I'm like, okay, stay away from this woman. And there was plenty of space, right? There was plenty of space on the path. When she got close to me, she purposefully fucking walked into me. And obviously with perfect gamer-like reaction skills, I was like, ugh, and like managed to get anywhere near me. I was like, no.
Avoiding the plague.
I could see her coming, like my spider sense.
You were like, disgusting woman.
Yeah, and okay, so I was like, what the fuck? I felt like something was gonna happen. She purposefully fucking an entire foot to get into me, and I was like, like Spider-Man catching the cafeteria food on the plate, but avoiding some rancid woman. Now here's the thing, that would be fine. That wouldn't even be a story. But the lap I go on round town, I got to the other half of my circuit. There she was again. The same woman doing the inverse of my circuit. And there's like, it's like a bit of a road where I cross and there's a post box. You guys could probably call them mailboxes. Post boxes, big red
Post
tubes.
office? Big red tubes?
Yeah, big red tubes, big red rockets.
I'll look it up.
Loud and proud in the street. But I was like, she was on that side of the post box, and I was gonna walk this side, and in my mind I was like, she's gonna fucking swerve and walk around my side of the post box, isn't she?
Yeah.
She fucking did.
What the hell is this?
She said that's where we
I've seen those in pictures.
That's how you travel in time.
England land.
Yeah,
we machine.
Your
blow
mail
powder into the
thing.
hole, and we get like sucked in, and we pop out another end.
Giant pencil stuck in the ground. That's cute.
Looks like a suicide kiosk.
It's the British suicide booth.
Oh my god!
did.
The blue ones will take you back in time. The red ones will kill you.
You know, that red slot looks like the thing in Dune, the Benny Gesserit test. You stick your hand in there.
Oh yeah, they're actually just alien robots in disguise waiting to launch. You Britons.
So you stuffed her in the post box is what happened?
No, she just tried to walk into me again. I was like, what the fuck? And that was it. The end of the story. No physical contact was made. No legal proceedings have been initiated.
She touched me! I'm glad you didn't catch smelly woman cooties.
Yeah, I would have caught something. She was disgusting.
Gross.
Any did you do anything involving comics this week?
Oh yeah, today I was like attacking the keyboard and mouse on my hands all day trying to put today. Okay, next week you've been hearing about it for a long time.
One sentence? Could you say one sentence? Complete sentence.
Next week I'm launching the Conan the Barbarian preview book.
Yes.
My chat.
Good idea to auction number 69 too. That was funny. I want to steal
that. There you go. Burying the lead here.
Yeah, just get to the fucking point or Narwhal will spoil it.
My chat was like, you should because they're numbered. There's 100 of them and they're all numbered. My chat was like, auction 69. So tonight the auction begins and it's a week-long eBay auction for number 69. I don't think it's up yet. It'll be up at in 1 hour, so we can check in when it's live. But when it is live, you'll be able to go to auction.bluedickx.com and you'll be right there.
How many .bluedickx.coms have you bought?
Well, Google migrated all its fucking URLs to Squarespace, and you can actually put anything dot your URL now in Squarespace. So I could put anything. I could put bullshit dot bluedickx. I could put bluedickx.bluedickx.com.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and I think auction, and then so
And
you can't go there yet.
you will be launching next creative block
Yeah.
on guess whose channel?
Whose channel? Hey, okay, cool. So next week.
Yeah,
Yes.
launching it next week. Yeah, I was working on the putting the campaign together today and sorting out eBay shit. So in 1 hour, get excited for the auction page to have no money in it because everyone waits till the last minute on eBay. I fucked up once and thought that's not how it worked. I just thought you put the maximum amount in straight away, and and then you like coast. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah. I thought like, okay, you get in early, you put your highest amount in early, and then at the end it calculates who was the highest one. No. So like probably a week or 2 weeks before this auction ended, it suddenly like shot really high because of me not knowing how eBay worked.
Good job.
Never again. I overpaid for a portal gun from Portal 2.
You're gonna have to have the link ready to provide it. Right?
People know it. It's auction.bluedickx.com.
You're modded, right? You could
Well,
drop
post the link. Don't make people type.
Well, I will when it's actually usable. You can't go there yet.
Yeah, so be and guys, if you want to find any of our books, the links are in the description as well.
Thank you, Phil.
That stuff.
You can also go to auction.connellcomic.com, but that's
let's give them 3 more links they could use if they want.
Too many URLs.
There you go. Alex has got it. But it doesn't work yet. Unless you're on mobile, it shows you the image, apparently. On desktop, it doesn't show you the image. But if you're on your phone and you click that link that Alex has posted, I think it'll actually show you the image. But yeah, number 69, numbered.
You should just put 69.bluedickx.com. Legit website.
Okay, let's go to...
Damn it! Why did I... Well...
Let's go to the website. I'm going to add that right now. It might not work in time, but...
How do you spell carnal?
C-A-R-N-A-L.
C-R-K...
So does carnal comic not work anymore?
.com. Connellcomic.com.
It doesn't work anymore.
What?
Oh no, you broke it.
Yeah, look at this. It says it's coming soon.
What the fuck?
What? No! Jay got hacked.
He broke the website there, Alex is saying.
BlueDickX. And BlueDickX.com is broken fully.
Oh
what
my
the
God.
fuck?
No!
It's because of my meddling. It's because of my infernal meddling.
Should have just made a regular eBay link and then...
No! Bring the website back!
Oh, God.
We must save the Blue Dick hacks!
Ruined. It's all ruined. Start the show over.
Yeah.
Well, the auction works for now. I'll try and fix that during the show. It should still freaking redirect.
Plot twist.
Yeah,
Sucks.
other than setting up that auction, I finally took a huge step in life this week. It was a lot of effort. It's a real growing up moment. I finally got in contact with my internet provider and fucking lowered my package.
Yeah.
And I'm now paying half for this. I'm paying half the price now for the same fucking service. And I could have done that ages ago, probably.
Your internet's never been bad or anything.
No, just very expensive.
Oh. All right.
You're one of those people that keeps putting things off because you just don't want to make phone calls.
Yeah. But today was the day where I was like, that's it. I'm doing all the stuff. I'm paying all the bills.
Proud of you.
And I'm turning a new leaf. I want to be that person from now on. I'm gonna put it away. Gonna be responsible. Gonna try and be a neat freak.
Oh wait, yeah. Alex does say you're pixelating. You need to overpay by double again.
It's the same thing for half the fucking less than half the price, exact same fucking service, and I've been paying that for years. I should have just done it. I'm an idiot.
No, I had the same situation with my phone bill. Understood. It's just a pain. Stupid.
Yeah, they try and obfuscate the truth. They don't actually tell you what the best deal is. They're like, actually, you could pay exactly what you're paying, but you could get TV and a phone, and I don't need any of that shit.
You don't want TV?
No.
Who uses TV?
Yeah, I know. No one.
YouTube TV.
Fuck that.
Become a sports gambler.
Yeah, did you hear that they are like Disney Plus and these different streaming services are coming out with they're trying to come out with a new style of streaming where the shows that are on are scheduled. So, and you could watch it live. It's like live scheduled programming.
That seems like a really good idea. I don't know why no one's done that yet.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah. I should
Yeah.
try
It's
that.
like a YouTube premiere, kind of.
It's just streaming TV is what it is. We've gone full circle back in time to television programming.
Yeah, people
they already
miss
did that way?
TV.
It's always going to happen, though. YouTube has become television.
Hilarious.
Streaming is kind of overrated.
I agree.
Yeah, it's all about pirating.
Having
yeah,
anything
see.
you want whenever you want it makes everything have no value.
Hey, by the way, real quick, have you guys seen the bender, the awesome bender that your boy Zach has been on? Like 3 videos. It's only 3, but it's like an hour and a half because they're long videos. Kind of roasting right-wing YouTubers for celebrating Furiosa
Oh,
bombing
yeah,
at the box
that's
office.
right. Yeah.
His audience is really attacking him, and it reminds me like he's very self-aware. He's like, I do this about twice a year, kind of go against my own audience, whatever. But he did it the last time was with Indiana Jones 5. But the thing is, Indiana Jones 5 legitimately sucked, so it just felt like I didn't quite feel it. But Furiosa is amazing. I saw it a few days ago. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude, I saw it as well. I saw it with my boy Chad Townsend while I was in Texas on
Nice.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was very entertaining.
Yeah. And so like this, it feels very righteous. Your boy Zach is being like classic your boy Zach, like he's kind of contrarian, which it kind of just makes him even more believable. Like he doesn't go by any narrative. And his main thing, if there's anything that he's really pushing for, it's for like appreciating art, and he gets really mad when that has nothing to do with what the right-wing YouTubers are doing.
So what is he saying? Is he saying it's good, or did he see it?
He's saying that it's good, but also that there are, honestly, most of the people I follow have said that it's good, but it's still bombing because people are tired of the marketing for similar movies. But I guess there are some YouTubers that are also saying, well, Furiosa should be sacrificed for on the altar of woke entertainment because even though it's not, just because we're so tired of female leads, even though this is actually a well-done female lead, apparently I haven't seen it. So he's mad about that, and but the point he made, which, yes, he's being contrarian against his own audience, yada yada. But I did like the point that he made about we're supposed to be building up media. It's not just about your side and my side, or woke media versus non-woke media. It's more about if something is good, be honest about it. And nothing should be sacrificed on the altar of our side winning. I think that's how I read it, and I thought that was a great point. I agree with that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The stigma of woke entertainment and stuff, getting called out a lot leads to people confusing actual good media for that and living a stigma on it. I was talking to my buddy who's a big, cinephile, and he's like, the reason it's bombing, because my thing is like, oh, theaters are like killing themselves. Like no one wants to go to the theater anymore. He's like, the reason this movie isn't doing as well as you think it would is because the Mad Max franchise has almost evaporated itself. The last movie came out 10 years ago, right? Fury Road. And then that didn't do well when it first came out in theaters. And even then, the previous Mad Max movie, what was that? 20 years or 25 years or 30 years before Thunderdome, between Thunderdome and Fury Road. And then now people that want to go, they're kind of cutting their audience in half, where it's like, this is a female-led movie, doesn't have Mad Max in it, so you're going to lose some people there. But also, you're losing out on female viewership because chicks don't want to go see a huge action-packed movie that's led by a chick. They'd rather go see it led by a hot guy that they enjoy watching. So you're just like cutting your audience down a bunch. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's, if you like that world, it's so Mad Max, like the world, you know.
There has been a point that, and a couple people in chat mentioned it, and I've seen it around that. Well, people just want to see Max have a send off before going off to some other characters, and as in like Mel Gibson playing Max.
Yeah.
See that? I liked Fury Road as well. I haven't seen the newest one, but I like Furious as a character. But I do think they should at least do a Mel Gibson movie, while they still can.
Well, that's part of the irony is they like, I don't know, the collateral damage. That's kind of Zach's point that you were saying, Rini, is it's kind of like collateral damage. Like there are actual movies that are girl boss that you can complain about, but then they're also kind of taking out a good movie that's not girl boss. And the way that they kill stuff, he's saying like right-wing YouTubers celebrating it flopping, like they kind of kill it in weekend one, like it's hurting it even more. It's not giving it a chance to like they could be saying, hey, it's actually good, go see it and let's get a sequel,
right?
Like whatever, like if it's a good, or they could be saying nothing, but it's a good movie is like what's weird. Like you look like a jerk if you're kind of making fun of a good movie failing. I think.
Sure. And that's what almost happened with X-Men 97. Turned out it was good and enjoyable to watch. Furiosa thing, I'd say go see it. Chad and I went to go see it, and he accidentally got the 4D seats that move and vibrate during the movie. And that was so cool. Like that's the first time either of us have ever experienced that. But if like, I don't know if I would go see that version of a movie every time, but this film was almost perfect for it because when the cars are just idling, you feel the engine in your seats. When they're jumping over sand dunes, your seat tilts back and forward. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're really trying to get women into cinemas with that, vibrating seats.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. I wonder, people are wondering about the future of movie theaters, and like Red Letter Media makes some good points that it's like, if you go, you'll have people on their phone, you'll have babies crying, you'll have all this crap that makes it not enjoyable. But that hasn't exactly been my experience. I still really like it, but it is getting really expensive. I noticed, like, just because of inflation, I did get popcorn and a drink, but it was $30 to get the ticket and a medium popcorn and a medium drink. $30. I'm like, damn, for one person. I'm like, that's a lot. So
just don't get the food. See, the best way to do, I don't know what, we get really good memberships over here. So you pay pretty much the price of one ticket per month, and you can go unlimited to the cinema to see everything. And you don't buy the popcorn and the drink. You know what I mean? Because like they're really screwing you over.
So Chad tainted me, and he's like, hey man, we're gonna go to this theater. It's connected to a mall, and I'm gonna buy a Chick-fil-A sandwich and stick it in my cargo shorts, and we're gonna eat.
He's like, this is what I used to do in high school.
Yeah,
I've eaten a Subway in the cinema. I've eaten a fucking Subway.
You know,
I put a
college
burrito in my my pants.
In college, me and my friend snuck into the theater a bunch of times, and we would bring beers. We get drunk, and then we didn't want to go to the bathroom, so we'd piss back into the bottles in the back of the theater.
We didn't need to know that.
Yes.
Oh my
I
god.
needed to know that. That's great.
Okay, things I did not need to know.
Oh,
I think theaters, the kind of like rundown shitty theater experience, you know, back in the day when it's like when we were in high school, middle school, whatever. Yeah, I think that's going to go away. But you know what I do like going to a theater? I almost never go to theater, but I went to theater to see both Dune movies because that is a theater experience. Not now, Jake. And because it is, I feel like that it's a cinematic experience. You want to see it on the big screen. And I think I also went to the theater for Fury Road. So, but it's that kind of special experience. And drive-in theaters, and also in Texas, I don't know if they have it around the rest of the country, but Texas has, what is it? The one with reclining seats and they serve food to you, and there's like a
we
little
have those.
table.
We've got reclining seats here. If you want, they'll bring food, but you just
Not all. Yeah, like normal ass Regal cinemas here, like don't have that because they're just pieces of shit cinemas where you have just
Cinemark.
fries all over the ground. Yeah, but the nice ones, I think that'll still be a thing.
Yeah, my seats were heated too, but they were way too hot. Like there's a button, there's 3 versions, and on the
Who's burning you?
yeah, on the first setting, like the lowest setting was still hot. I did turn it off after like 30 seconds. With Adam Lawson in the X chat, he says,
Yo,
going to the theater the cinema really is awesome. Especially with the recliner seats when you have the huge screen. It's like a religious experience. It's like going to a freaking modern cathedral or something.
Yeah. Real quick, sorry, you finish, then I'll go because I got a little.
But there's been a period of like nothing really good to watch, so I haven't been.
Go see Furiosa.
Yeah, Furiosa's a good one. The next one too is Horizon. Have you guys heard of this? Have you heard about this?
No.
It's Kevin Costner spent $38 million of his own money to make a 6-hour Western, and it's releasing in 2 parts this summer, once in June and once in August.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be amazing. Like, so definitely, I'm curious if it, I think that's another one people are betting. And you know, that this is part of, I feel like your boy Zach's point is like, it is annoying. Like you can feel how the culture war will react to things and people take sides. And you just know the right wing is going to embrace this one. I'm pretty sure they're going to root for it. But who knows if it's going to do well. I really hope it does. But yeah, that one looks amazing. But yeah, going to see movies alone is kind of fun because you can get a little more emotional. Like the auditory hitting you, it'll like make your eyes water. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I feel so awkward going alone.
Oh, you gotta embrace the cringe and go to your own and stuff. I've been to like family restaurants and eaten a meal on my own in a fucking family restaurant.
I did. You know what's even worse? I've had one up that, which is probably why I feel. Well, it wasn't that bad, honestly. I booked a when I was backpacking around Taiwan. I booked this Airbnb in this quaint little town. So cute. Turned out it was a honeymoon suite. I was there alone.
That's
but it was very, very nice because it was a fucking honeymoon suite.
Like,
I was like,
everything, and you're on your own.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was so sad.
It's like a note that says congratulations to a happy couple. You're like, oh.
No, they didn't leave that, but it was like hearts, everything.
They have the anime yes heart pillows. Every time I get a girlfriend, I'm like, you should get the membership, then we can go to the cinema all the time. And they never fucking do it. And then the 2 months expires and we break up.
That's the measuring. That's the metric. If
It's
you
always
find
2 months.
someone
It's
who
always
buys
2 fucking
a
months.
fucking membership.
One possible future for theaters is IMAX. I feel like IMAX is still doing really good, but obviously this is like an asterisk. Like I don't even know where. Like there's one in Seattle, there's one in Vancouver. So there's only like 100 in the world or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more. But
we have a couple here. I used to go to one all the time over here when I saw Spider-Man 2 and IMAX. Right.
Yeah. So that's one option, but I don't know if that still means little theaters go out of business, which is weird.
Yeah, I heard Fall Guy wasn't good. My buddy saw that, and he's like, they needed a couple more passes on the script. That Ryan Reynolds film, which I wanted to see, but I heard it's kind of like a kids movie, but
No interest.
everyone was like, this is too weird for kids. Like, it's going over all of our kids' heads.
I can't be the only one that just finds Ryan Reynolds absolutely fucking annoying now.
Well, he just
I
plays
wonder.
himself, right?
It's just
Yeah, he's been
guy.
foisted a little bit too much upon us, and it's right as Deadpool 3. That's another one that people are like, "Oh, Deadpool 3 is going to save movies," and even that's like mysterious. Like, who knows? But that one does look good. It looks fun.
Yeah, I'll see that. There's some horror thing that I want to see too.
I'd be excited for Deadpool 3 if I hadn't seen Ryan Reynolds play Deadpool in every other film he'd been in and been like, you don't belong here. Go back to your own film.
Yeah,
No, he plays Van Wilder as Deadpool.
Exactly what I was going to say. Van Wilder. So I was out of town this past weekend. That's why we didn't have the show last week.
Yeah, thanks,
I
Phil.
went to Texas. I went to Comic Palooza. Hung out with my Texas buddies, Chad, Nikki P. Ghost House was there. His awesome wife. And I got these kick-ass. I got a bunch of stuff.
Did Ghost House say he was coming to Heroes or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You're going to be the only Brit there. Besides Simon.
He's not actually a Brit. Apparently, he's born in America and then moved to England.
Yeah,
where he picked up the accent and permanently got burned into his brain.
Yeah.
So he's from America, but has the most British, the most South
so
British
weird.
accent. And like me, I from here and have a weird Frankenstein Simpsons Futurama voice.
But look at his awesome comics that I got,
Nice.
which is a webtoon that he does on Webtoons.
Wait, open it and show how it looks on the inside.
So they're his webtoon strips that I think he formatted for comic format, obviously, and pretty cool. Let me, I guess I could bigulate myself here. But super awesome. Shout out to those guys for letting me chill, hang out, a little. Yeah, they're
Cool.
They're super funny. If you guys could look them up. It's called Greetings from Grizzly, and it's about this chick and this ghost, and it's so funny. All horror based. They're in like this horror town where weird stuff happens.
That's so cute. I love the motion to everything. Such a great style.
And it's got that awesome British humor.
Nice. Wait, so he's a fake American masquerading as a Brit. He's a reverse Vaughn. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
This should be illegal. It's too confusing. Stop.
That's why Ghost House is actually cool.
Got some Chad Townsend sketch cards as well. Shouts to Chad.
Awesome. Man, yeah. Too bad he's not coming to Heroes.
That Brimstone is very good.
Yeah, he killed it on that.
Y'all are
Super
gonna
cool.
regret not coming to Heroes. I'm telling you.
I know.
A lot of people will be there though.
What's up, Cam's in the chat? Good to see you.
Hi.
But yeah, I had an awesome weekend. I met Matt Weldon, which was freaking sweet. I got him to sign my Psycho 66 book. He did like some cool sketches in here for me. He was super cool. That's an OG guy that's been around forever. And I got some of his Punchline books. And what's that book he did with Doug Ernst? Soul Finder. Oh, and this is what I really wanted to talk about or just bring up to you guys is when we were out there, there was a booth at the con that was a local high school's comic book club. And they're like after school, just group of kids that work on comics and talk about making comics. And so they did this like little anthology that they were giving away. And
cool.
Oh, that's great.
So I told them about the Creative Block and had them sub to our channels. I think one of the kids subbed to Jake's was the first one that popped up. Some
I
told him,
wondered why people had actually subscribed to my channel this week.
That's awesome. It's because Phill was out there marketing for you on the
Really?
ground.
so I told him
That's
to tune in
cool.
and go look at the playlists and stuff. And I gave him the couple of kids there some of my books, and Nick gave him Axe Wheeler John and stuff. It was really cool to see those guys, and they kept coming over to the table, and Nick was like showing him some sweet drawing techniques. So that was really cool. One of the highlights of the show.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
looks
really
like good work
exciting-
for high school.
That's a really
especially.
exciting time of someone's life to be engaging with all that stuff. That was like
Yeah.
one of the best times.
Youth.
What did you do, Irene?
Holy Hand Grenade says Jake, I unsubscribed. Good on you. Good for
Oh no!
Good for you.
I can unsubscribe too to balance out the figures, so you feel more normal. Me, oh god, 2 whole weeks here. What did I do? I have been in what?
I just Ellie Muniz said, "Did you rip that comics up?" Sorry.
No.
I have known art teachers who would do that. Of course, they were all Taiwanese. So
Rip your comic up. Go commit suicide, bitch.
I had an art teacher who would rip bad work up, and yeah, they got in trouble for that. And then a animation teacher who would go around and randomly unplug computers while you're working in a computer lab to teach you to save constantly. I had
I bet it worked.
teachers. Yeah, that's why I'm so
That's
fucking
crazy.
conscientious with my work. Yeah, anyway, so the last 2 weeks, boy, I've just been in thumbnailing hell. Jake knows. I have
I'm
been
in the
revising
same
the
hell.
entire. You don't understand. You guys don't
That's the
understand.
frustration board.
It's been 6 months, you guys, and I'm gonna have to push back Phoenix 3. I know I don't have like a launch date or anything yet, but I'm like, okay, I made the decision. It's really frustrating for me, but I have decided. I made the decision. I'm gonna put quality over rushing it, and that means I'm going to make sure the storytelling is good. And believe me, chapter 3 is more complicated than 1 or 2. It's like everything is coming together, so there's a lot to cover. And I'm so glad I split off 4 into its own book, because my god, that would have been so much work to cram all that into one book, and it wouldn't even have been 100 pages. It would have been more. Right now, chapter 3 is at 66 pages, which is the same as chapter 2. But I think I've got the layouts done. 6 months of layouts. Also, I was working on a lot of commissions and I had other work to do. But 6 fucking months is how long I've been doing these layouts, and I think I'm finally good. I'm just doing some dialogue passes because I letter before, I letter first and then start penciling. And then we're good. Fucking finally. So I'm super happy. I'm really excited. I can't wait for this book to be done. I can't wait to, it's been really hard work. It's been a lot of like debates and, critique sessions and trying to figure out the best way to do things. But I'm happy with it, which is a great feeling. I know it works. I know that all the work and the critique and everyone's feedback has made the book better, so I can confidently just start drawing and turn all that thinking stuff, that troublesome thinking brain off, and just draw. And I can't wait for that. That's like the best thing as an artist, where I can just stop thinking and be in the zone. So I'm looking forward to like 8 months of that, and then we can actually finally have a campaign. But yeah, it's good.
So it's next year. So
It'll be next year. It'll be next year. I don't want to launch till most of it is done. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm a little, I know some people are averse to that. You're supposed to. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. But also, okay, so that's Fiendish 3. But despite not having comics content, I have been making other content. I have, if you guys have noticed, if you follow my YouTube channel, I've been putting out a bunch of those world building videos, and I started out with character profiles, right? And I actually still have a couple queued up. I actually, oh, thank you, Snuggie. Well, I would rather I don't know. I'm still debating, but I feel like I would rather launch later so people don't wait as long. I just like it better that way. I don't like launching and then I feel like I'm under the gun to rush the artwork just to hit my fulfillment date. I want to just finish the work first. The work will be better that way. Okay. So
I agree.
yeah. So with so I've been actually trying to take YouTube slightly seriously, which I generally haven't up until now, and I made a bunch of videos. And if you're a member on my channel, you'll see I just uploaded the first part of this little interview series that me and my friends filmed. And I hope it's not too awkward. It's probably really awkward, but I'm proud of
Probably
it.
awkward.
So
I
go take
hope
a look.
it's awkward. I
It's
hope
super
it's as awkward as
awkward.
your voiceovers on your law videos. Those are great.
That's
just
me
looked at it and laughed.
being calm. It's members only. It's members only. So unless you're a member, then you can't see it. Secret. But if you're a member,
Well, fine.
go to
I
the
didn't want to
members
see it
tab.
anyways.
Isn't that the one? Isn't
No,
that the
okay,
one
good.
holding up the
Go-
book?
No. That's just the intro. Go to the community tab. I just posted about it. Oh, and in the first comment, I have a playlist actually. So that playlist is where all the videos will go. So I have like the Fiendish world building playlist, and this is like I want to start making of videos. So I had my friend is a podcaster and videographer, and he was just like, "Let's do an interview for your channel."
Wait a second. Is this what happened? Jed says, I'm a member. I saw a strange man in his house asking questions with a lawyer present.
It was an interview. Also, you get to see my fancy living room. Everything is Fiendish. It's awesome. But yeah, there's the playlist. So go check that out. And I have a whole.
Looks like a hotel lobby.
It's perfect. It's so pretty and organized. I'm very organized, guys. You understand. Everything is fucking spotless because I'm OCD. But it'll be fun. It's a 6-part just talking about Fiendish and comics, and I'll have more. So after that, I want to film not just like it's boring if I'm just talking about myself. That's stupid. I want to film making of videos and maybe some convention videos because I'll be doing more of those this year. And more stuff like that. So I'm excited. Go check it out if you're a member.
Yeah, I'm thinking about some new YouTube content for my channel as well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to experiment a little bit.
Yeah, that's
an experiment.
Yeah, always experiment. Try new things.
I love it when women experiment.
Oh my god. Holy Hand Grenades is in the chat. He says, Phil, how much is that tome book? It's $20 on the campaign. So go check it out. Go grab it if you haven't. I saw Cranberry Langers did a flip through of the books a couple days ago. So shout out to them. Thank you so much. Snuggy says Lost Pages 3 kicked ass. Thank you, bro. Yeah, all the American books are out in the mail. I saw Sumo just got his today. And the internationals, Brandon and I are labeling tomorrow night after the Diaz Brothers show, shipping a bunch out Saturday, and the statues as well. So that'll be it. That'll be done. And I just, speaking of, I saw Adam Lawson was in the chat on Twitter. I just formatted something for the next campaign that is going to happen really soon. So if you guys dug the Lost Pages 3, we're going to have more content for you right around the corner. And Adam might be sending something to the printer here in the next week or so. So that's super exciting about that. Yeah, should we get into the topic, guys?
Yes, it could be a good idea. I fixed my freaking website forwarding, but it says it'll take like time to work.
It's still broken for me.
Yeah, no, it is technically still broken, but it's fixed.
What's up, Wolfer?
Yeah, half an hour to go until auction time.
This
Hey, Dan Plagel's in chat. Hi.
What's up? Wolfer's here. Dan Plago, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so we are here. We got a topic finally, and trying to do. I kind of did a PowerPoint. I mean, I actually did a PowerPoint. So I was thinking today, and actually the last couple of weeks, just ingesting media and thinking of stories that I really love. And we got Shelby in the chat too. What's up, Shelby? I thought you were streaming. If anybody is in Shelby, if he's oh no, he did a premiere video. I was gonna say if he's EFAPing us, leave his stream and come and watch our stream.
Is he EFAPing us?
No, I don't think
Shelby,
he is.
how dare you?
He did a premiere video.
That would be called stream sniping.
How dare you?
Anyways, yeah, so we got a PowerPoint. I was thinking about stories and moments from other movies or comics or stories that I love, and came up with a topic of the white whale. And this is not racist. All right, the white whale. Look at him. Look at that
That's
guy.
a nice
You're gonna get
painting.
cut in half by that knife above him.
No, that's a boat.
This is some serendipity because I was just watching this YouTube documentary about whales and like whale communication. It's weird.
Oh, not the dolphin one. The freaky. Yeah, because whales have got Wi-Fi in their head. Using sonar, they can transport like images and stuff and ideas and everything. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm over here. Look out, there's a rock. Like it's like, okay, when you see all those fish or like whales banging their head against the rocks because of like some stupid boats beaming out sonar in the ocean somewhere, it's probably because inside it's like Wi-Fi brain, it probably has the most ungodly images being beamed into it by like a military submarine.
Yeah, they're very sensitive to sound carries super far underwater, and this is total distraction. I'll be quick, but this documentary I saw was a bunch of scientists tracking whales. They were like, were they humpbacks? No, they weren't. Sperm whales. And they were tracking their diving patterns and how that coincided with boats that were scanning for oil with using sonar, and they discovered it totally threw off the whales' diving patterns. And the years by which it was in the North Sea, so the years where all these companies started scanning for oil in the North Sea, whale beachings increased because the whales were all freaking out and going off course while they were migrating. Anyways, it's really interesting. And I don't know. We should probably think about this stuff.
It's horrible. Yeah. I feel so bad for the man.
Well, this is a metaphor, guys. This isn't.
Yeah. We weren't supposed to just start talking about whales the whole time. You know what the sound whales make?
Whales are really cool.
They have a whole language. It's like
they do have language. They really do. And it's not just those sounds. They have echolocation, just like bats.
Oh,
so, like the ear.
You know,
Okay,
the echolocation thing, that's why A Quiet Place is a stupid movie, because any blind animal, they always have echolocation, and the fact that those dumb aliens don't is retarded. So that movie sucks.
Well, that's there's a new one coming out. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's called. I just saw the trailer for it.
The Quieter Place, is it called?
No, it's like the third film, right? Already.
The Even Quieter Place.
It's called The Quiet Place First Kill or something.
Oh, stupid. Why don't they have some balls? Be brave. Call it The Even Quieter Place. And then The Even Quieter, and also still more, The Yet Quieter Place. Just keep going, just like the Simpsons books.
This is great. Wait, so this is about literal whales or literal whales?
No, it's about literary whales.
I wanted to derail it further because the sound traveling further in water. I won an argument last week about if
I don't believe it,
because I have in a Pathfinder game, I have an intelligent weapon that can talk, and he's made of solid metal. And my argument was that if he's underwater, everyone will be able to hear him because sound travels underwater. And my friend was like, "No, it doesn't work like that." And I was like, "Yeah, it does." And I won. So now my intelligent weapon can talk underwater.
Well, lower frequencies travel farther underwater.
I think lower frequencies travel further in general.
Yeah, but also
Yeah, I think I actually should have lost the argument, but I think the way I argued it meant I won, so I have a superpower.
So what you mean is your superpower is emotional manipulation. Well done.
Well, what I
Argument.
mean is I won the argument, but I'm actually deciding not to use the ability because I actually don't think I would. I should have won.
Sounds like cope.
Yeah. Yeah.
a bankrupt.
All
right,
bankrupt.
Here, we got to start this slideshow, okay? We got 50
Oh,
people.
fine.
All right, the white whale.
Echolocation for 3 hours.
Let me tell you about the white whale. It's
Do you think blind people can eventually learn their own echolocation?
no, I don't think
What?
they have to. Well, yeah,
Blind
Daredevil.
people?
You ever heard of Matt
Oh,
Murdock?
blind people.
Daredevil?
Deaf people.
I was like, what?
Oh, you meant deaf
I mean,
people?
it's the first thing they learn. Using their eyeballs, using sound.
Oh, God.
All right, Jake, how many times have you read Moby Dick?
It's upwards of 20 at this point.
And do you want me to call you Ishmael?
I would imagine not.
All right. Well, though that's with the white whale. This is the metaphor I'm using. So it's chasing that ever fleeting goal. So basically, subtitle is the goal of why or why we tell stories. And this is specific to the creator. And we're going to get into, I mean, I guess a little bit. I mean, I just dip into why people tell stories, throughout time and stuff like that. But I guess this is also kind of like a personal topic. And I told the panelists here to come up with some examples and things that you maybe have taken away from other media that really gets you jazzed or excited to still tell stories. And that one, maybe it's not one thing, but a specific reason or feeling that you felt from a story that you want to replicate. And that's what this kind of is. So I thought this art was pretty cool, but let's get into this. All right.
The key crescendo feelings, the goal you're trying to make happen, but then you never manage it.
Yeah, because there's those, we all have those rock star moments of storytelling in our heads that, for me specifically, it's like those moments are what I'm trying to replicate in my own way. I want to impose that feeling that I was so excited about from someone else's work through my hands and words, and hopefully someone out there will get as jazzed about this stuff as I have from the great storytellers.
I have one to mention towards the end that I think might actually be unattainable, but I would like to ask you guys if there's a way that it would be possible.
Yeah. You're not going to take your shirt off, are you?
Oh, do you not want me to do that?
Yeah, not for this stream.
Ah, damn.
Okay.
That was what I was bringing. Okay, never mind. I'll think of something else.
Doesn't get a room later.
Some person says we tell stories to impress others.
This is like a fun, like a binary thing for creatives, and it's something I ask most people. If you were in a prison cell, right, and you were there forever, and you were just gonna be there, you knew it.
Prison.
Okay. You're in jail. But they would give you all of the art materials you want, all of the writing materials you want, and they're like, look, you can spend your time making art, writing stories, but as soon as you do, give them to us, and we destroy them straight away, right?
Yeah.
So no one is ever going to see the stuff you make.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still bother making stuff? Because some people are like, yeah, I just enjoy making it, and I don't care what happens with it afterwards. Then there's the other side who are like, well, if no one's ever going to experience it, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see
Good
what you're
question.
saying there. That is that's a good point.
Do you guys have an answer or not? I know mine. I know Irene's.
I would take the pen and stab the person that's keeping me
Oh,
imprisoned
no,
and
no.
tearing up my art.
Not an option.
Why is that not an option?
It's not how hypothetical works. It's
Fuck,
not
I
how
don't fucking
hypothetical
care.
works.
Fucking
Oh
keep
my
me
God.
in
It's a
prison.
High schoolers are
Fuck
watching
you.
this, Irene. High schoolers. Set
They're
an
old enough to hear
example.
fuck.
Oh my God.
It's a metaphor.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a crazy question because that is a huge part of creating. In my
I
opinion.
wouldn't. I actually don't think I did. I do make stuff to get a reaction out of people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
What's
you could
interesting-
develop
It's
a.
superficial, but
You might develop a split personality and just tell stories to
Tell it
yourself,
to
that
yourself.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would constantly think of them. But
Right,
I wouldn't
I
put the
agree.
effort into drawing them.
Yeah, I agree, Jake. I would, but there's some like you could spend your time doing other things, but still have that stuff in your head. That's a great query. So the right
Yeah, because I remember we talked about this, and I do know people that would make art even if they were in that situation because they do make art just for themselves. But most artists aren't like that. I don't think I would draw comics because I'm drawing comics for other people to read. Like, that's the whole point. It's communication. Like, people are in chat are saying it's about getting attention. Sure, we all love attention. I love attention. But it's also about communication. You want to communicate something and connect. But I think if no one else was gonna see it, I would still sculpt because I remember doing that as a kid. I would make little figurines and toys and no one would see it, but it was fun. It was just to like sculpt little, like you still have the stories in your head, but I liked making the little figurines and it's not for anybody else. It's just because I like seeing the stuff in my head.
Yeah, like Michael Dietrich says, yep, all artists ultimately want attention and praise. Like, I don't know. See, like, praise for me is confirmation that you did it right. Instead of like, oh, if someone's like, oh, you're great, I'm like, oh, I get lost. You don't actually think that. Like,
well, praise the work, not like kissing
yeah.
your ass. Like, we want our work to be.
And it's creating the right feeling in the audience, which is one of the white whales, right? These are the white whales. The feeling that you want to instill. Is that what you're getting at, Phil?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was specific, like in my experience and what I've kind of come to recently is like that's my thing is kind of imposing an emotional feeling on the reader and kind of seeing their reaction to it or if they get it. And I agree with you, Jake, where it's like a lot of my creation is because I've read stories that mean so much to me and have almost manipulated my emotions, and I want and I've been inspired to create because of that. So, and in turn, I want to do that and see if I could do that to someone. Kind of create stories that inspire them to create more things.
See someone do a magic trick. And you're like, I want to learn how to do that. I want to do a trick.
Yeah, that's me, dude. I spent hours and hours learning magic tricks in high school because of that. Just because I was astonished by that stuff.
That tracks.
Oh yeah. What it reminds me of too is like I've had this. It's sort of like a fantasy and sort of a story idea, but it's like what would a writer's role be in the apocalypse? Because I feel like roaming caravans of motorcycle gangs, they would actually still want storytellers, and that's like kind of fun to think about too.
And
I still want to feel.
That brings up a great point. What movie is it? Is it Unforgiven, where the bad guy has like a journalist, reporter, writer with him?
Yeah.
Scribing the tales of him and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's Unforgiven. Someone.
It's Unforgiven.
Okay, yeah. And so it's like that as well. Just a quick shout out to Shani. What's up? She says she's at a bar and can't hear anything. Thanks for the ducks. What's up, Shani? Good to have you around.
I now want a Zap Brannigan-esque knight in Connell that has a scribe. he claps and says scribe, And then the scribe has to come out and he retells what just happened differently to how it went down. That makes him the hero, and the scribe has to write it down.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Like, or he could describe what just happened, and like, of course, or if this knight is not as cool as he wants to be portrayed as, and so he recites it as it happened, and then the knight gets mad and like something to him, and then he changes it on the fly. That could be another one.
Yes, that's good.
Let's see. Jonas says you write to have something cool to draw. That's true.
Well, actually, I've found that to be. I know you don't really boil it down to that. I find that a trap. Like, you can make loads of random cool stuff, but if it doesn't all connect together in the right pattern to activate that like magic trick, it kind of feels pointless. Like you wasted your time. Do you guys get that feeling too?
I don't know.
Well, you don't draw,
so. Saying, but I think it's you could still do it and have it be cool. But are you saying like it could be over designed or kind of forced?
No, you can have a bunch of cool visuals and stuff happening in action, but if it doesn't fit together well structurally in a way that can actually create a feeling other than like, oh, that's impressive, you drew loads of cool action stuff. Okay, what's the point?
Sure.
Right. Yeah. I'm having flashbacks to this moment where it is hard to kind of think. Well, it depends on the person. Are you talking about when, for example, you show the layouts to another person and they don't? The question is, well, what's the feeling behind this? It's just all procedural, or it's all just cool visuals, but there's nothing behind it.
Can be that. It's like you can make a bunch of funny stuff, but then you end up with a character that's unlikable, and no one roots for them, and
sorry.
There's no point. You did a bunch of fun stuff, sure, but what was the point, right?
Right. There's no weight to it,
Yeah.
I think like, and especially as we'll get into this, because let's see, someone was saying they don't understand the white whale thing, but a lot of what I'm trying to get at here is a culmination of character plots and character development, and then for me, the white whale thing is like the payoff, where it's the thing that socks you in the gut. And it's like, oh shit,
it's the point,
right? It's the point, and that's why this first slide is like very basic. What are stories? Why are people telling stories throughout history? Obviously, to teach lessons. You have your moral tales of warning, mythological tales that interpret the world around you, explanations of what people thought things were. But a lot of those things was morality, and the point of a lot of stories, even today, are the way they were back in the day of like morality, and what I think like storytelling for me is explaining a truth to your audience, that are things that are universal.
Yeah. It's like if it's like the experience being like a meal, you want to create like a really nice, full, healthy, satisfying meal rather than like junk food or just dessert or something, is what that reminded me. The other thing I was thinking of with stories is like stories are it's kind of like ants can't tell stories, like whales. I don't even know if whales or dolphins can tell stories. Maybe they can, but there's a level of self-awareness and basically recording, which I guess it's our own memory. But once you have the ability to record, then you can tell stories. The opposite of that is just living in the present moment, never ending. And humans can't do that. We've never been able to do that all the time. We have to take a break, and whenever we take the break, we're living vicariously through other people or through ourselves from the past. We're trying, like we're kind of postmodern as a species, like our brain. Like we have that. I think that's like a psychological term. I've heard they call it like the watcher or something, like your brain, how you feel like you're living a story sometimes. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah, and I think what you're mentioning about being able to tell stories and how even apes probably wouldn't be able to do that. It's abstract thinking, right? It's the ability to speak a supposition or suppose this is what's happening, and the other person understands and you understand this isn't actually happening, we're supposing it's happening. And that's actually quite a great leap in cognitive function, and only humans have that, and that's necessary for stories. And the function of that is not just, well, let's suppose this happens, and then that allows us to plan ahead. Like, let's suppose this happens on this hunt we're about to go on. Imagine a bunch of cavemen and shit, and this is how we plan for this contingency and this contingency, and then that evolves into stories and poetry, especially poetry. I think if you look at really, really old stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Mahabharata, those are all verse stories because it helps people remember, and that kind of lesson planning of using abstract thinking to teach lessons has transformed into a memory item that is verse poetry. And that's why the most beloved stories are all lessons in life. And even stories like the Bible, it's like a series of lessons. This is how you should live your life. All the religious texts, all these old stories. And I was taught that when you're writing a story, view it as writing an essay. It's everything should revolve around the core of your story. You have a theme, not just the feel of it, or this is your character's superpower, or this is a cool thing in your setting. It should revolve around what are you trying to say? What is the theme? Okay, you have a theme of you believe that something cheesy. Oh, love trumps all, or vengeance is bad. Okay, but stick to that, and everything revolves around that, and use your story as an essay to prove that point through everything that happens and all the characters' journeys.
And that
Theme.
structure, you're weaving that to try and create a crescendo moment at some point that is the white whale. Like that's the structural thing of like trying to whip up this perfect storm that creates the moment that gives that one super heightened feeling that you're like aiming to do with the overall story, right?
Yeah. And the way I'm thinking of this idea of the white whale, because Ellie says, I thought the white whale was something you deeply desired but can never get. And that's why I kind of look at these moments in storytelling that have huge impacts on my life, or impacts on the way I tell stories, as like benchmarks, where this is where I want to be. And I may not ever hit that, quality, but that's what I use for motivation in storytelling, and kind of, I guess, comparing my works to that, like those moments, and because they had such an impactful precedent on me, that's what I want to do. So I put here, what's your white whale? The goal or benchmark that you strive to achieve with your stories. Could be an emotional moment, catharsis, or revelation in the story. And I put harmonica here in this slide because he's from Once Upon a Time in the West, which that is just an engulfing emotional moment for me as a media ingester. There's a huge moment at the end of the film where everything that you've watched for the last 2.5 hours just culminates in a revelation that is just so much emotional weight to it, and pays off with a cathartic ending. It's like, that is one of my white whales, where it's like, that's what I'm trying to get out of my audience or put into my audience that has the reaction that I had. Narwhal, have you seen this film?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome to the full effect of that word. It is insane to the point where, like, if I hear that movie's just so good, the soundtrack is amazing, and everything in that story was even put into the music. Like, if you just hear the harmonica song from, it's just so ominous. It's insane.
You know, I heard like a legend about Sergio Leone after this movie came out. So I think this is like after Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I think. So he'd already done all these masterpieces kind of. And they did this, and they were interviewing him, and they're like, this is a masterpiece too. Like, you keep making these great movies. How do you do it? And he goes, because I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And I was just watching an interview with him. You know, he did Good, Bad, and the Ugly, a few dollars more, Fistful of Dollars. And he says, he's like, if you look at my films, they're mostly silent films, and the dialogue is just there for quippy moments. But you could watch them on mute, and you'd still get a sense of the plot and the weight of the movie. But this brings up another point, because this film specifically is long, and it's close to like 3 hours long or whatever. Maybe it's 2.5. But getting these moments where it's a buildup of story that crescendos to a point that really impacts your audience. I wanted to talk about like story length and what you guys think that has to do with impactful, memorable scenes or impressions on an audience, because we are in the medium of comics and everything is paced out by panels, pages, page count. Is it possible to do like a one shot of a short page count that is as impactful as something that is a 20 issue run, or extrapolate that even more, something that just has legacy characters built into it, like Batman or something like that? Because page count really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you think of all the things that affect you on that super deep level, almost like changing your life, I feel like it's almost always long stuff, like Berserk or whatever. But I was just thinking, like, maybe I can think of like maybe like one or two poems. There's that poem that goes around on Twitter. It's called The Tiger, and it's like the tiger, he's broken out of his cage. Yes, the tiger is free. Something like that, written by like a 6-year-old. I'm like, man, that poem is awesome. But I might have just butchered it. But yeah, and then if you think of like single images, like a Gary Larson cartoon or Calvin and Hobbes, I don't know if it can hit. It could still be amazing. And then speaking of like Calvin and Hobbes, like maybe that, taking it as a whole,
Right.
some of it kind of becomes like a relationship. Like you could have a relationship with Calvin and Hobbes, if you read every single issue, then that's like a year-long relationship. So then you have all these kind of emotions around that. But it's kind of like about the story in your life, not the
I
actual
would
story.
say that, I mean, in my opinion, it's harder to write a good short story than it is to write a good novel. Just because space-wise and time-wise and time your audience spends with your characters, and
You don't have to be as dense and efficient.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Simply Green says any memes that changed your life. Actually, that might be true. Memes can change your life.
Yeah,
The highest form of art.
This one changed my life. Okay.
Yeah. Just live by memes from now on.
Do you have that printed out on a block? It's like a little shrine to it.
Yeah, because he's cultured.
Beautiful. What was the
Jason
question?
Black.
Were we supposed to go around and say our white whale moments?
Or long versus short stories. Do long stories hit you harder? Are they harder to do, etc.?
Well, yeah. He's talking about, let's say, like Fry's dog episode wouldn't work if that's the first episode you watched. You have to see all of the series to get the context in order for that moment to hit. And he's saying that it's harder to get a hit like that on with a short story versus long. And do you agree
They
with that?
do. Yeah, they do teach you to start with short stories though, and it's going back to, at least maybe that's just how I was taught. But I think the idea is with both comics, they teach you to do the same story with like 3 panels and 1 page, 3 pages. I showed you guys on a few creative blocks episodes ago, but in writing classes, it's the same. They teach you to start with short stories and work your way up to larger stories because I think it's easier to write long stories, but it's also easy to overwrite, as in you lose focus. So with short stories, you have to be very concise, and once you learn to be concise, then you can expand without losing sight of your focus, because I think focus is what's important. And those moments of great impact, that's when all the focus is like concentrated in one moment and it all comes to the surface. Those are the story moments that we've been talking about that we all remember.
I'm gonna flip it on its head. I think it's easier to write a bad long story than it is to write a bad short story.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's but let's see, it's easier to write a bad long story because you can just indulge and write a lot of words and get distracted, and that's totally true. But it's also harder to write a good long form story.
Yeah,
I think that's
I think it might be easier to create the height of the fucking heady high of that emotional impact in a long story, but it's probably easier to write a still good short story than it is to spin all the plates that it takes to make like a similarly good long story.
I don't know. I think the storyline should be dictated by whatever is necessary. It's not that one is harder or one is better or harder or whatever. Every story has a this is just enough, and if you tell too much, then it gets boring.
Yeah, like I was working on my comic and I added like a couple of scenes because I'm like, these will be fun, I'll throw them in. And then when rereading it, I was like, this actually makes it worse. Like I loved the scenes, like I actually liked the scenes, it was fun, but I'm like, this makes it worse because it loses focus.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, it can be taken out and it's better, even though it's good stuff that's being taken out.
Well, what would you guys say is some of your kind of white whale moments that come to mind?
Well, okay. See, I'm trying to think of ones that are smart, because I'm just thinking of like when they're on the train in Back to the Future 3 and they're gonna fly. Like everything in Back to the Future 3 builds up to that one scene where they're going along the train track, and it's like perfect. You have a really clear they're gonna die if they don't get it right because they're gonna fly off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's a beautiful thing that's also gonna get destroyed by them doing it. And this train, which is like a marvel of engineering, and like, you know, it's almost like one of the pinnacles of technology for the era they're in that's just like gonna be thrown off a cliff. The music builds, they have the different colored smokes. I know it's like baby time, but it just feels good when you hear that overture flare up and you're like, shit, this is the music and it's happening at the time. Everything's built to this. They can only do it now. You know what I mean? Like those moments. And like, it's not like some huge, deeply sorrowful oh my god, I can't believe the weight of this. But it's like you fucking feel when you're watching that film, you fucking feel that moment.
Never seen it. Next.
Have you not seen it? Oh, everyone hates the fucking train, but I love this. I love the time traveling flying train.
Look at
You
that.
know what's a kind of funny separate, a sort of funny separate thing from this is movies that are so tragic and make you feel like such shit that you never want to see them again. Sometimes you'll block them out, or stories. You can block them out and not really remember them that well. But those can be like a white whale. Like you could be like, I just want to make this the biggest thing to just hit someone, rip their
That's
fucking
the ultimate
guts
white
out.
whale. That's the white whale of
You
all.
want
That's the
to
most valuable
traumatize
feeling.
her.
That's
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
valuable thing. Feel like horrible sorrow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best.
Like the end of Titanic. Just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't you know, when I reread Berserk, I don't read the eclipse. I don't need
Yeah.
to read that again. You remember it so well. Like I don't need.
I don't
Yeah.
find the
To
eclipse
reread
that
it.
sad. I
When
don't.
sorry,
I do.
in the manga, it's not in the anime, but the guy who throws the knives, what's his name? Ricket? No. Anyway, one of the
No.
dudes, the badass with the ponytail.
Jay
He also
something.
kind of has a thing for Casca, but never does anything about it. And like
Yeah.
he dies, and he's kind of like
Judo.
thinking it.
Judo.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's kind of
beautiful.
thinking about her a little bit while he's dying. It's like,
Oh, it was so sad. It was so sad. Oh man, those
When-
characters were so good. Yeah, that is the ultimate. Well, I mean, is for a lot of people. I would say that that feeling of weight is a white whale for a lot of writers, and definitely for me. And I wrote down a couple of examples. So, you know, of course, I'm a huge fantasy fan, and I was thinking my favorite fantasy series, Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire, of course, isn't done yet, but what Song is really good at doing is having those reveal moments. And I remember Phill was talking about that as well. And those are the moments that are like the red wedding and the purple wedding and all that kind of stuff. And it's not just, it's a plot twist. You subvert expectations. It's a twist, but when it happens, the viewers and the readers realize, of course that was going to happen. Everything just clicks and falls into place because all the seeds have been planted, but you just didn't put it together because there's so much other stuff happening. And it's just, I think so much about how unbelievably hard it must be to plant all those seeds and all those puzzle pieces and have them come together. It's ridiculous. George is ridiculously smart. I want my books. And then you can get into all the other theories. Like if you're really into Song of Ice and Fire theories, there's all kinds of stuff like if you reread the books a bunch of times, you start seeing these clues like the wall is probably made of trees and old Nan is probably Dragon Rider and was Nettles disguised as an old woman. All kinds of theories that make so much sense. And it's like a whole iceberg that's thousands of miles deeper than just, oh my God, Jon's a Targaryen. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But I think that's like, I don't think I can ever recreate that level of depth, but just that reveal of, oh, of course that's how it's going to happen. And the readers never know what's actually going to come next. I want to create that feeling. And on top of that, I want to, I remember so Lord of the Rings is not as complicated, but what I noticed with Lord of the Rings is it's very, very emotive. The story is all about the characters' emotions, and especially especially the last book, what Frodo and Sam are going through as they are in the end game of the story. And I remember how I felt at that time, that it's kind of indescribable, where you're on the edge of your seat and you're rooting for the hero, but you don't know if they're going to win. Like you don't, like reading it for the first time, I don't know, but I felt like even if they fail, the journey would have been worth it. And that's what I want to recreate.
Yeah. Those are like big accomplishments if you're able to do that with a character and your audience have that ambiguous ending and the stakes so high where you could see the hero losing,
Mm-hmm.
and all
Like
of that
it's
is
believable that they might actually lose, but
right.
you want to keep reading.
Yeah, that's like that's just part of the storytelling or writing craft that I think we just learn over time, and it's just we're always learning new things and how to craft stories like that. That's something that just comes with time and building that relationship between your character, which I think long really allows.
Is he roboting for you guys?
Yeah, your mic is cutting out, Phil.
Mine is. Oh,
Okay,
It
now
was,
you're
but it's
better.
not new.
sorry. I was saying that long form storytelling, it really allows a creator to establish that relationship between their characters and their audience.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It does, but it's like it's that catch-22 of like you can fuck that up so easily.
Yeah. But that's I mean, that's what all this is. Storytelling from, I guess, a writing standpoint is all your decision making or the character's decision making, and what paths those decisions lead them down.
And it's all a risk, but you have to take that.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Jake, your auction is live. Chat.
Yeah, I just pinned it to the top of the chat if you want to talk about that. Do you have the books?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's here's the book that I've been like building up for. It's like a preview book of the first Connell book. It's got there's gonna be 100 of them, and they're all gonna be numbered right here. It's got like a bunch of like rough pencil story pages in it. Can I show this page? Yeah, I can show this. Yeah, I can show this. Like I'll show some of this double page spread.
No boobs there.
No, there's no boobs. Just like a dead creature.
That opening page is great. Yeah, this is so cool. It's a huge preview of all the roughs and tons of characters. It's so raunchy. It's so much fun. You guys are gonna love this book.
Look, here we go. Yeah, it's got a bunch of character designs in it. It's basically a big preview art book. And in the back, like if anyone who gets these things that are like signed up, I was fucking around with the pen and like trying to write numbers ahead of time to see if I'd do a good job. Look, I might do all of this. If you're signed up to the mailing list, which you can't currently sign up to, I guess, because I fucked up the URL. Like, I'm even going to remark the back of them. But yeah, you can there's still a MailChimp link. There's plenty of fan art in here too. But yeah, I'm launching it next week on the show. But for now, there's like an eBay auction for number 69 because they're numbered. My chat was like, "Hey, you should auction. You should like sell the special number. You should auction 69." So it's pinned right now. You can go to auction.connellcomic.com or auction.bluedickx.com to start bidding on number 69. And Harry Bemis was like, he would bid, but the shipping's 15 quid. It's international shipping, man. Like, honestly, it does cost me that much to send this stuff over to America. Like, that's international shipping. As an Englander, a Brit, I have to pay more than that on shipping, like, every single time I get any CG book. Like, you spend $25 on the book, and it's like $25 on the there you go. There's some ass.
Hey, and this is the preview book that you will be bringing to Heroes.
Yeah.
So that's what the campaign will be. You're only printing 100 of these, and they're all numbered. And so the 69th one is this auction. Okay.
Yeah, there's 100 numbered of these. I was doing it. I was having these made for the convention, but like I decided, like the chat's been there whilst I've been working on it and talking about it all the time. I should obviously like have some available for you guys. So yeah, there's like 50 of them going up on this campaign. There's everything's like going to be limited and everything, but look, little sketches we did on stream. We did these on
His
stream.
face on the bike. Oh,
Look at that!
God.
I've got a
That's
big bike sketch card thing.
I love that one.
There you go. So good. And the cool thing about this is with this preview book, a bunch of this has already been refined and changed, so you'll be able to see the difference in what's in here. You can see his bio weapon.
So when Carnal becomes ultra famous and blows up and becomes $1 million franchise with the animated show, and this book is going to be worth so much money, is why I need to get in on this campaign, and especially the 69 book is going to be special. It is marked as special, so it'll be worth more than all the other 99 books out there.
The super famous IP that when Camel heard about the concept, Camel Moon instantly said that can never be mainstream.
No, you don't understand. Japan, like Americans are fucking prudes. Japanese and Europeans are gonna love this shit. Like fucking, you're fine. Things are weird.
The auction's going to be up for a week. You can start bidding now, but obviously it's eBay. People wait till the end, and it'll be finishing same time next week. So yeah, during the launch. So
perfect. That's awesome.
Get going. And there's one bid already. Someone's already done the starting bid. Hell yeah, it's on.
I think it was well read.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's not. It's a bid.
It's a bid well read. But we appreciate it.
Bought it. That would be hilarious.
You gotta keep checking back. Make sure you check back because it's eBay. So
yeah, it's an auction that's a 7-day auction. But yeah, can you imagine all this camaraderie, and it's like a $25 buy it now on eBay. That would be
that's a good idea though, running on eBay because
I thought people should do this. Like if I kind of think that if people did their eBay auctions like on a stream or ending on a stream, you think
that's a good idea because I've done live auctions on air for closeouts and launches, but that's a good idea, having it on eBay so it can last a whole week and you can generate more hype. Very smart.
Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming all week. My audience is gonna hate me
every day all week. You heard it here.
Yeah, right. Jake streaming.
I am gonna stream this week. I bet you I'm gonna stream twice on my own channel this week.
Well, it's already Friday, so do people not count weeks as just when you say this week? It's 7 days ahead of when you are. Oh, okay. So before next Friday, you'll stream twice.
Yeah.
All right. Hold him to it, Dad.
2 ADHD streams where I talk about nothing.
Amazing.
Quality content.
I miss your video game streams.
I've been thinking about playing something. Maybe I'll make one of them a gaming stream, Phil. Freaking 8-hour long shouting at the screen gaming stream.
What's your white whale, Jake? One of yours.
Well, okay, it's not Back to the Future 3, but so it's kind of.
We talked about the train.
Well, no, I mean the one I want to go for, not one we've seen. Do we want to talk about the ones we're hunting?
Yes.
Or okay, so I'm kind of with Narwhal on the absolute sorrow. Like maybe you don't agree, but like I do think that feeling is the most valuable feeling. Like you can trick it with music, and sometimes, but like the true feeling of loss or sorrow for someone who's like trapped in like a Sisyphusal unappreciated cycle that's like they know they're in it and they're still bearing that cross and no one appreciates them for it, you know what I mean? Or
right. Well, then that's like the ultimate self-sacrifice, right?
To me it's the ultimate thing you can do as a person. It's like to make a sacrifice for no transactional benefit to yourself,
right?
And for it to go unnoticed, and for you to be okay with it going unnoticed to the
Right.
point where you could sacrifice yourself for other people and they could hate you for it, and you're glad they do because that's what it needed. That's what needed to happen for you to make the sacrifice. That's life goal. Like, I don't know, that's like the ultimate, that's beauty. That's, to me, that's the most beautiful idea. And to,
Or that's heroism.
yeah, that's true heroism. And like, it's because so many people do things for other people, and it's always transactional. Like, they'll just put up with people and they'll be like, well, they never did anything for me. And it's like, you don't do these things for what you get back. You sacrifice for the sake of it, not for like profit. And that's, it is technically Jesus.
For sure.
And it's like,
Yo, Pablo.
it is the most heroic thing someone could do. And to portray a character doing that, and for the audience to actually feel, like, to feel the sorrow that they think the character should be feeling, who's sacrificing themselves, but that character doesn't. And they're like, why? You should be feeling terrible. Why are you okay with this? You know what I mean? Like, why are you all okay with this? Like, that's a white whale feeling that I would love to instill in an audience. And I know that I keep doing comedy all the time, but like, comedy is the setup for that. I feel like that's the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. You know, this reminds me, actually, do you guys know who William Goldman is? He's a famous screenwriter. He wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He wrote The Princess Bride, and a handful of other like absolute classics. But he like literally has a white whale. I just put it together because he said his whole career is chasing this emotion, but he calls it stupid bravery, and it's a kind of potentially a form of like, it's kind of a masculine thing, but women could do this too. But he would like be trying to put this into his movies, and if he ever saw it in other movies, he said he would instantly start crying, and he didn't know why. It's like whatever, the stupid bravery would just make him so emotional. So he was always trying to put that in his movies.
The stupidity of it. It's like people could be actually stupid, and it's not bravery, right? Like, they're just trying to put themselves at risk.
You know, it's a great one.
Wow.
This might sort of be my white whale, is of what to recreate and one that hit. But it is like kind of like that stupid bravery thing, but I think of it too of like, they are about to go on a suicide mission, but there's a small chance they might survive, like that, and even like the night before, and they're just like sitting with what they know has to happen or whatever. Like, I love that kind of stuff, and The Matrix does it really well. Where Neo, he's like, I think I can bring him back. And you're just like, fuck yeah, let's go, let's do it, Neo.
Yeah.
Man, the suicide mission where the person had no chance and does die and fail, and then other people realize he never needed to go on it. Like,
I don't know about that. That's funny though.
That's horrible.
That's a horrible, sorrowful feeling.
Yeah, but it would. How do you make that worth it to the audience? That's a huge risk. You can, but it would have to. That would be a risk. That's
you would reveal that something was achieved out of it.
Right, something else has to be achieved out, because the risk isn't just that, oh, it was the character, it's annoying, or it breaks what is expected. It might feel like a betrayal of the audience's investment if nothing came out of the sacrifice.
Yeah. But fucking sad though.
I have a sad example that I'm going to walk you guys through. And
I always resist saying my example, and it's Ice King from Adventure Time.
Hi, Granda. What's up?
I've never seen that.
This is very sad. The truth to his character made me cry.
Well, can I share one with you, Jake?
Go on.
Imagine it's just us. Just the two. So
Made me cry, Phil. I want to cry. It's my favorite thing to do in life.
I don't know if I will, but this is a spoiler to episode 5 of X-Men 97. All right. And this is why the show, I really like the show. My favorite character is Gambit, and I'm sure some people may have seen that in the chat. I know a lot of our audience has not watched it, but this is why the show is so good. Also, I'm a stan for Gambit. So in the show, they've been building up the you previously know that Gambit and Rogue are in a relationship. Gambit is a thief and a scoundrel, and Rogue is this untouchable, super hot chick that can't touch anyone because he sucks the life out of them. Pun intended. So they've hinted earlier in the series that Magneto and her had a love affair in the Savage Land, and that's explained in episode 5. So no one knew this but them too. And they also explained that Magneto is the only person that can actually touch Rogue without getting the life sucked out of him because of his magnetic field or whatever the fuck. Just some random science that they include in the story. So they've banged before, right? And they had an affair when they were both younger, but no one knows it. So Magneto now is on the team, leading the team, because Charles leaves everything he owns to his ex-best friend Magneto. So Magneto has turned a better leaf, and he's on the team now. So there's this big summit to make Genosha, which is the mutant island, part of the United Nations, and they want Gambit to be the head of Genosha, to be like the face of it, and he wants Rogue to be his queen, basically, because he thinks if someone from the X-Men team, who are good guys and known by the world as heroes, was part of the Genosha, lead, then the world would see and recognize this island of mutants as a safe haven. So they go to Genosha, and there's this awesome scene between Nightcrawler and Gambit, where Nightcrawler is like, I see the way you look at Rogue. Why don't you just ask her to marry you? And Gambit's like, I'm a sinner and a scoundrel, and I have there's no place for love in my life. And he's lying to himself because deep down he really loves her. And Nightcrawler has some awesome moments in the show. He's just his dialogue is so good in the show. So this builds up to a scene with Rogue and Gambit, and her telling Gambit that she's going to go and lead this island with Magneto. She tells about the love affair, and then Gambit's heartbroken because he's had to put on airs that they've not really been fully committed to each other, even though they wanted to be, but they can't have physical touch. And that's what Rogue's excuse is for them not to go forward together. Really good scene. So there's this party scene where Magneto and Rogue kiss in front of this nightclub thing. Gambit gets mad and kind of runs out, but all hell breaks loose. Like a giant sentinel comes to the island and is eviscerating all the mutants, like super laser blasts and all this shit. And it culminates to a point where it's Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto defending the island from this super sentinel who's literally like a kaiju sentinel that is birthing other sentinels falling to the island. It's freaking awesome. The action in this episode is so good, and it all builds up to a point where Magneto is getting blasted by the Sentinel Ray, and Rogue is trying to save him, but he's using magnetism to wrap her and Gambit up to a pole to protect them. And he gets seemingly eviscerated, and she gets super mad, busts off out of the magnetic ball and flies to the Sentinel to get all of her anger out to try to destroy this thing. And then Gambit jumps on a motorcycle. He basically hits her with it, knocks her out of the way, and he runs up to the Sentinel and is going to do whatever he's going to do, but just because he doesn't want her to get hurt, and he gets stabbed by the Sentinel through the gut, and he's going to die. And with his last breath, he charges the whole Sentinel up with kinetic energy, explodes, saves everybody, saves Rogue and all that. And it's just all of that emotion that was the first half of the show, which was mostly dialogue, and then the last half, which was awesome action, culminating into this self-sacrifice that Gambit does for millions of mutants on the island. And it was just so freaking awesome. Really high-level storytelling, and Camel Moon is wrong about X-Men 97.
And
Everyone says
sounds
it's good. The art looks really good. That's compelling. I do want to see it.
He does this without revealing his feelings for Rogue properly.
Well, she knows. But he's very stoic in his. He's the type of guy that does not, show that. Even there's in the episode after this, they have a funeral scene where Nightcrawler's talking about him, and he plays off this devil may care attitude, but his morality is really what defines him.
Does she still get with Magneto after this too?
That's
the salt in the wound if she's with him at the funeral. You know what I mean?
That's what Jake would do.
Well, no,
It's on his grave. Why don't you?
She doesn't go to the funeral.
Twisting the fucking night. Oh yeah, because she's too busy in bed.
She's too distraught. No, she has like a kind of dark twist to her the rest of her story because all this happened.
That was good.
But pretty badass. And that was another thing where it's like, wow, it's a very self-contained episode, but of course it helps to know the backstory of these characters. But they did a really good job of pushing that emotional story arc and having what I would say is another like really impactful moment that it's like, man, that is so good, and it gives me goosebumps because I want to do that.
I know. Well, I mean, you mean in a story. I would love to die in a way like this.
Right. Yeah.
I would love to be able to have such a meaningful death. Henry Bemis says if Phill starts crying, he's refunding Lost Pages 3, even though he already has it.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
don't worry. I'm not crying. You're crying, okay?
Jake's the one crying here. We're giving all our tears to Jake.
So yeah, spoilers. But also someone said he no dead. They're definitely going to bring him back.
Going to stay dead. Yeah.
Okay, but that's partly why it sucks.
Well, he's dead. I mean, he's definitely dead, but they're going to bring him back as one of Apocalypse's 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Like he's going to be Death, and that's going to be cool because he's going to come back, and then obviously you do a face-off between Rogue and Undead Death Gambit. It's going to be bad.
But that's only cool if he has no memories from before.
That's fine. Yeah, he probably won't. If it's Apocalypse, so he'll bring him back, and then
if he had all of those still special happy time feelings, and then like he self-sacrifices and he comes back, but it's like all gone.
Right.
And it's like he sees her as a blank slate. That is a horrible feeling. Another one of the amazing white whales to put in. Doesn't even recognize.
You just made me think of another ending. Yeah. Old Boy. The Old Boy ending.
Oh, dude, when he's eating out his sister?
What?
Yeah.
No, not that.
I never watched Old Boy.
The ending.
That movie was.
I mean, you know what happens though, right? Because everybody knows.
No, I've never watched it.
Don't watch it.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I feel
Don't
like
spoil it because I might.
Spoil it. I just spoiled a show that came out 2 months ago. You could spoil this movie.
Fucking watch Old Boy. Okay, but what I'm talking about is the ending, not just the sister stuff. when he gets hypnotized, and you actually don't know. At least I couldn't tell. It's like, does he remember who she is or not? That was so painful. He couldn't even talk because his tongue had gotten cut out. That was a good ending.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
the last
movie
scene.
reminded me. There's a handful of Korean movies where, so this is another kind of white whale for me, is where it involves kind of not exactly having like a setup, but I have kind of a metaphor where it's almost like World War One with trench warfare, where like you have no man's land, where if you walk on it, the enemy's over on the other side and you'll get shot with machine guns. So they are all in trenches the whole time. But like you could, and they would have trenches for everything. They have drainage trenches because they're trying to control water because they can't be walking in water the whole time, or they get permanent soggy foot and it goes gangrene. Have to chop it off. They have
Ooh.
trenches to take a shit. They have trenches for whatever. So they're just constantly building trenches, and they're digging down beneath, trying to cut into trenches. They're trying to cut around and find the enemy's trenches with their trenches. But you could imagine finding the enemy's trench, and then that's like a moment where you're like, that doesn't require a setup. But if you find it all of a sudden, or the context of the situation could be the setup, but you're like, okay, well, that's their trench. We need to find out what's down this. We could like attack right now, but they might know we know. This could be a trap. Like that, I love like that moment of kind of like improv that a story can do, where it's like something completely different could be happening. If it's a story, you could have like two soldiers like arguing like whatever about some bullshit, then they see the trench, immediately what they're arguing about means nothing, because now they have to like make a decision to go down this trench or not and find out what's down it. So that kind of stuff in stories, and there was an example of that in, speaking of Korean movies, what made me think of it, it's the movie I Saw the Devil. You guys know that one, right? Rini, I think you do. Yeah. So there's a section in that movie where it's like one serial killer goes and hides out with another group of serial killers who have taken over a house, and then the good guy comes into that house on this like kind of secret assault, basically. So it's one man assaulting a house that's already been taken over by 3 serial killers, and then the family is like mostly dead, or they're like in the whatever, there might be one of them still alive. And that scenario, it's like, it doesn't really have a setup. It's like, okay, this is the scenario, let's go. And it's like improv from that point, where you're like, but let's see what happens. You have no idea what will happen. And some amazing badass shit happens. It's like a lot of cool action, but it's like very unpredictable, very fun once it starts,
Yeah, I realized. Oh, go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna mention you're mentioning all these battle scenes, because what you've described are battles, but not just, well, they punch each other harder, and that's something I'm trying to work on. I think I mentioned this, working on making fight scenes better, and I think one way to do that is just have a really good setup. Not just the characters' motivations clash, but also have an interesting environment. They're in an interesting setup. The environment is this apartment, and then put yourself in the characters' heads realistically. And kind of like what Narwhal said, just run with it. Instead of having a plan like, this must happen, kind of put yourself in their heads, have them treat the environment like real people, use the environment and try to predict the other person's moves and let it play out naturally. And usually I find that that's way better, and you'll get to a better endpoint than if you had tried to force it in a preconceived direction.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like even with like chess can be like that. There are like moments in any even chess game where you're like, if this was a movie, it would actually be a really good movie. You're like, damn, what just happened? Like in chess, there's moments where like the rook will get on the back flank of the enemy on the back rank, and so it's essentially behind enemy lines. It's like infiltrated the enemy castle. You're like, oh my god. And it's like, that's not necessarily good for the rook. The rook is like trapped and screwed, but also it's a really great chance to attack. So you're like, fuck, this is like the best chance we have to attack, but also we might all die. It's like really cool.
Yeah.
Those examples you gave early on, Noel, it's like you set up a bunch of elements that you know are going to magnetize to each other, but they're separated. And then you have after setting up all of these magnets, like you suddenly take away the thing dividing them, and that's the instantaneous anticipation of all these magnets are now going to fly at each other, but you don't know how, but you know that they're gonna hit each other. Like that's what all that setup is arranging all these elements that like have charge, and then when
And like
you just
pushing
suddenly,
play almost kind of thing.
yeah, you suddenly pull away the it's like two hamsters or whatever, then you pull away the piece of card separating them, and then they go like in a ball, you know what I mean?
I appreciate the mention of hamsters to lighten up the darkness we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
But to go back to Phil's example, there's a similar example from Rick and Morty.
The contrast in our example.
I know. I have to bring stupid baby doo-doo examples.
That's
Morty gets like a time reversing button where he can set a point and then he can live a bit of life and then presses the button and he goes back. I know, stupid baby dum-dum cartoon sci-fi.
No,
But obviously it's like making him take more risks, right? And basically he's like fucking around. Eventually he like bothers to ask this girl to go on a date, and basically you see their relationship building, right? And like it's like, oh cool, like this is the result of him being more confident. They like go on a trip and the plane they're on crashes and it turns into some like survival in the wilderness, like in the permafrost fucking snowland.
Yeah.
And like he goes on this trek to fucking find his phone from a bag of stuff he found, and like his skin's ripping off as he's trying to like turn the phone on and call like 911 to be rescued. And they get rescued and he's like in the hospital recovering, and it goes on like this. Do you know what I mean? And like she comes into the room and it's like, oh, this amazing thing. And then Jerry, his dad, finds the button thing and thinks it's just the TV remote.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he presses it, trying to turn the TV over, and it sends Morty back to the last point, which is just before he met her. It's the day he met her. And obviously, he had all of that relationship, and at this point that he's gone back to, she doesn't even know him. And so it's like he tries to introduce himself, but obviously fucks it up, and she thinks he's a creepy weirdo and like maces him and runs away within like 5 seconds. And it's like that profound. It's a horror, like the erasing everything and the other person doesn't know you, and then you can never get that back because it's impossible because it was
right. And that's a comedy, right? But that's the stuff like in a world where you could break the rules like comedy does. You could do stuff like that.
It can set you up for those really horrible emotional. If you're expecting a comedy, you can. It's the prime opportunity to have those really like fuck moments.
It's
and
good
then
contrast.
Yep.
Which creates impact.
Yes.
On your story as well.
Yeah, Colmajed says can't cross the same river twice.
That's right.
Yeah, he shouldn't have criticized the bastard. He got what he deserved for criticizing the vat of acid. 2 bids, by the way. Thanks, guys.
Yes, don't forget to bid on Jake's 69
Yeah,
bucks.
so there's another bid. There's another bid. Link is pinned to the top. Yeah, let's see. I do have one more slide, I think. Let's see, where is this?
Someone in chat mentioned Haruhi Suzumiya. I forgot that show! That show was really popular when it came out, wasn't it?
What is it?
The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. It's an anime. It's like 10 years ago. It's basically about a high school hot bitchy girl who's a god. It's actually pretty good. And they had a time loop thing too, like an endless summer, was it? Like the summer kept looping, and the main character is this guy that has to deal with the fact that she's this bitch who's a god. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was good.
I love that fucking time loop lost romance, because what is the most valuable thing to lose? Like, what is the most valuable thing in life? It's like the relationship, and that's like, other than being a parent, it's like the most valuable relationship you can ever have. So for it to be gone in a way that like no one but you even knows it ever existed, fuck, man, because you have to live with that. Character has to live with that. They have to live
It's your like the lonely lie that you're living. It's like no one else knows but you.
And the
pretty dope.
The only option is to get over it and find someone else. But the thing is, if you build it with someone else, it loses its value over time. Imagine you build a relationship with someone else and you're like, yeah, I love this person. This is great. It's like, man, I guess that thing that was so valuable wasn't really that valuable. Like but
also think of it this way: if you loop back in time and it didn't work out just because you did something differently, then it was never meant to be anyways. Was that really the one, or was that really compatibility? It probably would have ended at one point. I would think of it that way.
Truth is, there is no one.
That's true, but there's compatibility. So,
what about the time machine? Remember Orson? Is that Orson Welles? No, H.G. Wells. Sorry, H.G. Wells.
What about it?
Well, he keeps going back and trying to save his love, but he can never. Right? It's just like always
that what up to?
Inevitable, and then like he goes too far in the future, and then they're mining the moon, and there's the mole people, or the Morlocks that live under the earth.
I just remember the Morlocks. That's nothing else.
That was most. Yeah, it's about love. I'm pretty sure.
Romance is stupid.
They do that in Futurama.
Yeah. Of course.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, isn't that the flowers from Algernon one?
No, they keep going forward in time and they realize the universe is cyclical.
Futurama, Rick and Morty, anime. Narwhal has obscure movies. Phill actually knows.
Well, yeah, it's a classic trope. Well, which is the one where he learns to play the hollow slug, the hollow flute with the slug?
Well, there's a couple of that's
so good.
Yeah, he does a deal with the devil to get hands so he can play the holophona to woo Leela. The devil's like, I'll spin this wheel, and who knows who it'll be. And Bender's right next to the devil, and he thinks it's going to land on Bender, and he's going to get his friend's hands, and that's the story. But no, He gets the devil's hands, so he can play it really well. How does it fucking end? He just switches the hands back. He switches the hands back so Leela doesn't marry the devil.
Right, yeah, he does the Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events ending where like Fry becomes famous for playing the hollow flute or whatever, and then
hollow flute, that's
whatever it's called, and then the devil does the deal to marry Leela because is it to get her voice back
in marriage?
Does he take her voice or something?
No, he deafens her. He gives Bender. Gives Bender a like an air horn for a nose. And he's like,
air horn, and then it makes her deaf.
Yeah.
Oh damn! That's funny. That's silly.
It ends with everything goes back to normal at the end, but then Fry is still like trying to play the hollow flute, and then
that's the end of season 4, which was the end of the original 4 seasons before it went on hiatus, and then they did the 4 movies. Like that was the end, I think, is the big opera. Another really sad Futurama one is when he gets the worms.
Good.
He gets parasite worms, and they improve him. He becomes smart. He's like muscular. He basically becomes like perfect guy. Leela's like, they try and stop him getting the worms. The rest of the crew do, and Leela like stops them all. He's like, no, I like Fry now. And it's like, what? And then, she says, I love what you've become, which is kind of fucked up and sad. And then Fry's like, yeah. You may have done a lot of damage to your brain, universe, but no more than a night of heavy binge drinking or 20 minutes on a cell phone. I definitely don't have all of the dialogue for these episodes programmed into my brain. Who are you? Points
You
at
definitely totally don't. Not at all. Wait, just
What?
keep scrolling through these screenshots. Let's watch Jake voice every single one of them.
Every scene. The known universe. He's pointing to a statue of himself, and the statue says the known universe, and it's him pointing. The statue is him pointing the exact same
pose.
Oh my god.
But when Leela says, I love what you've become, Fry realizes, fuck. He goes in and he gets the worms to leave, and he reverts to his retarded self. But he's trying, right? Like he still tries, and then Leela is no longer attracted to him. But he chose that. He's like, do you like me or do you like the worms?
Right.
And the ultimate question, would you take the worms?
Yeah, I can't remember what fucking story. There was a similar story where it's
I would take the worms.
Yeah.
No. The Witcher. Yennefer and Geralt have a similar thing where they're bound by this like fucking pact to it's they're supposed to be it's like a spell that keeps them in love, and then in the game you can choose whether to let go of that, and if you play it right, it's like, well, does you can finally choose to whether to stay with her and be in love with her or actually leave.
I played through
That
that.
reminds me of that. So it's like, is it real attraction or not?
They
removed
the spell is forcing them to love each other, and they do choose to break. Well, at least I chose to break it, and then
you get to choose. But it's like she plays it either way as like, oh, it's nothing, I didn't care about it, but she actually did care.
Damn.
She did love him. Yeah, but
but
it was her choice. It was right. That's right. You go on this mission where you play as Geralt, and she wanted to break the spell, so she makes you as Geralt dive and get this fucking thing to break the spell. And then she's like, because I want to know if the love is real. And then you finally get to choose. And then if you as a player choose, now I don't feel it anymore. And she's like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, I didn't feel it, but she totally did. So she kind of did it to herself, where she was in love, but she forced you to make the choice, and now it's all over for her.
I chose both of them. Geralt did it with both of them.
Well, good for you.
I wanted the most sex scenes.
It was a player.
If it was a magic spell that was forcing someone to like you, then I'd get rid of it. If it's worms which are making you self-improve, I'd keep the worms.
Well, I'd keep the worms no matter what, because if you get shot, then the worms heal you.
Well, yes, he gets a fucking pipe through his chest.
Yeah.
Well,
fucking
it's just
Mugen shit? Like Mugen worms? Manji, not Mugen. Mugen is from Champloo. Too many anime.
Yeah, they're like
Blade of the Immortal.
you can't die when you have these worms.
Yeah, that's from Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah.
If he was flattened to a pulp, I always think about this with like Wolverine or Deadpool. If it was like man versus hydraulic press, and they were actually turned into a liquid fully, surely they must be dead now.
No, well, it's different. I mean, like Deadpool could you come back from almost anything.
But what if he was turned into a liquid? If he was liquid,
well, if you go to like Lobo's canonical original powers was he was able to reform from a drop of blood, and then
like a comedy guy,
right? Yeah, that's because Deadpool. But also there was a point where any blood he would drop would clone more dead Lobos. So
okay,
multiple, but he was stripped of that power.
Well, that's the thing that always. Who is the true thee? If you do have someone who, I suppose with Lobo it doesn't matter. If you have like a million Lobos all from blood, then he's just a meta Lobo, and you just have a meta character who's like a metaphorical idea.
Right.
Not like Deadpool chops his head off and grows a new head on the body and a new body on the head.
Yeah, it's just usually new body on the head. You know.
Yeah.
That's interesting how these regeneration powers are. That's kind of the questions where it annoys me when those aren't clearly identified. One thing I really liked about Fire Punch is the main character in Fire Punch has infinite regeneration power. Okay, so I totally just hated how it ended because it was kind of a non-ending and it was like this infinite into the universe ending. Anyways, but Fire Punch did start out. The setup was so great. So at least read the first part of it. So the main character, this setup is so fucking badass. It's a futuristic world, post-apocalyptic, blah blah, and people have certain powers. But people with superpowers in this world are used. So if you have electricity powers, this giant country, it's like a apocalyptic tundra wasteland, but only one country there's like one civilization that has ultimate power, and if they find out you have a special power, they're called gifts. They'll take you and just use your body for that thing. So if you have electricity generation, they'll just hook you up to like this generation system to generate electricity for the city. So it's kind of fucked up. So anyways, the main character, but then some people that are upper class, they have like the people who are in power, they use their powers to like fight, and they're warriors, but a lot of people with gifts, they're just used as slaves. So the main character has regeneration abilities. No matter what happens to him, he regenerates. But his village, when he was 15, was attacked by this general who had a fire ability to set things on fire, and the things he sets on fire, the fire will not stop burning until the thing that was set on fire is consumed.
Right.
So he who has immediate and
Undying
infinite
flame versus
right, and what do you call it? An immovable object is hit by an unstoppable force. So he is set on fire, and he's just been permanently on fire since he was 15 because he keeps on regenerating, and the fire won't go out even if he jumps in water because he never burns out.
Does he look cool? Like he's on fire?
He's just a naked guy constantly on fire. Like the whole book, he's naked. He can't,
And basically, he goes for years of just being in pain, like horrible pain, and then because the healing is painful. He starts off by his village would eat. The reason why they burned his village down is because they were chopping off his arm and eating his arm over and over again.
They were starving, and then they were like, "Oh, this village is full of cannibals." But he was like, "Yeah, he was like, but it was interesting though because." There was kind of spoilers, but not really. And then in the end, because the main character is trying to find that guy who set the village on fire. Like, I must avenge everyone, especially my sister, because his sister died because of the whole, and then the guy's like, no, I didn't. I set the village on, I wiped out the village for a reason. Like, there's a reason why cannibalism is an issue. These people get used to eating human meat, and they can never change in the future. They're going to keep on wanting human meat. It's kind of the whole Wendigo argument, which makes sense. But, he spends the whole book just from his perspective. You killed my sister, and I was just trying to feed my starving village. So I want revenge. Yeah, it's really gnarly. I forgot what my point was, though. But guy on fire.
The point is the undying flame versus infinite regeneration. He spends years in just pain, just learning to put away the pain of being constantly on fire.
Yeah,
he gets used to it. Yeah.
What a weird premise. That's weird.
It's great, but
could have gone somewhere. A fire punch.
I really enjoyed it, and then they introduced a character that was really fucking annoying, and then I just stopped reading it.
Oh, the she character?
Fucking director. And I know I need to actually keep reading it, but I was so into it. It put me off reading for a bit.
The she, they, them weird, they're very off-putting at first, but I'd like the ending for it's a fucking woman.
You've said, they get what they fucking deserve.
Pretty good, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The ending is really fucked up. I hated it. It felt like a very non-ending, which is just no, I don't like that. Yeah, but everything was really good until the ending.
All right, I think I have one more slide. Let's see here. I do Here it is. The white whale.
I cannot read this.
I'll
Why
read
did
it
you
to
do this?
I'll
Oh
read
my
it to you.
god. God damn it.
It's giving me a stroke.
In conclusion, use the whale as an endless well of motivation. Maybe it's something you'll never achieve, but it's a un oust a un what do you do to a fire? You douse it?
Inquenchable.
It's an unquenchable fire that an old Japanese man put upon you when your family was you were feeding them with your fingertips and meat, and then this flame will burn in you forever, and you'll always try to reach it, and you may never, but they're endless wells of motivation. Bathe in the stories you love. Focus on how they make you feel and how the stories accomplish that feeling in you. Unquenchable. Thank you. Yeah.
Is inflammable. It's the same as unflammable and
Yeah,
inflammable.
unflammable is the same
It
as
says inflammable.
These memes are funny, by the way, in the background.
Yes, I
What
was
is
originally just gonna put Rorschach in the back, and then I'm like, oh, these are much funnier than Rorschach. But I feel like the Rorschach's death is also, it instills that emotional feeling in me as a big whale moment. In the film, especially
Uncompromising.
uncompromising constitution, willing to die to not betray yourself and the world.
Didn't he write this as like, this character is stupid for doing this? This is like the ultimate.
Yeah, that's his intention, but everybody loved it. Listen, this is
This is the
definitely
way to
Arthur
be,
moment,
man.
okay? Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
He's
this moment specifically was that. It's just, I think the character as a whole, crackpot, conspiracy theorist. But this obviously would be the path that the character like that would take, right? Which is super powerful.
It's the cannibalism question. I would rather starve to death and fucking die than become a cannibal and actually cross that line. Like,
right.
if
That
it's to
will
protect...
you. What will you do? How far will you obey? Will you do what you're told when everything is clamping down on you? Will you get the death juice? Stuff like that.
Death
Real
juice?
life questions. Yes.
Says, but yeah, I mean, it's like those moments are tragic, but also super satisfying to see, you know, someone just sacrifice themselves or stand up to tyranny and stuff like that. Like the build up of the, and a character like this throughout the story and in the film as well, you've seen the place he came from and he grew up from. So like that has also a huge impact on this moment because he's been through a pretty rough childhood and he's made the decisions and walked the paths that, you know, denies the darkness that he could have went down into.
Makes a decision about who he is and is not going back on it. The Howl comic says Alan Moore's White Whale is understanding people's love for Rorschach.
I'll never get there, huh?
On the other hand, the flip side of standing by, you've decided who you are and you'll do anything to stay true to it is, you know, can be villainous too. It's very, a lot of examples of that. So.
If they had, like, fucking soft
Griffith.
boy. Yeah, there we go. that was
Soft boy. I was like, oh, surely you're thinking about someone else. And you'll.
No, I was thinking about Griffith.
Angelic femboy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does take it up the rumpus. He takes it up the ass to fund his dream.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
Who?
He's gay for pay.
Griffith
is gay for pay.
Rumpus?
The asshole. I call it the rumpus.
He prostitutes himself for clout at one point in the manga.
Oh.
It's more of a
lot of money.
It's well,
but it
yeah,
pays
money.
off double.
It's
it
more
pays off double when they win that fight because of it.
Yeah, it's purely I want to get something. He's a psycho, right? He just wants to get something out of the Lord.
Griffith
Yeah.
literally did suck that guy for money.
He wants to read Berserk.
You don't see it, Phil.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't.
what's the point?
My
You see plenty of tits, and is
there ever
several
a
scenes of straight
unsheathed
sex. Yeah,
I don't think I ever
the
saw a
sex scene
single.
between Casca and Guts. You see everything.
You see his dick?
Yeah.
The one where they're in the forest after meeting again after a while?
Yes.
I don't remember seeing his.
Okay, so
And I'd be the guy.
so everything except because Japanese censorship is funny. Japanese censorship is actually very strict. It's everything except like a little tiny dot. So in manga, you'll notice that's just whited out, like one tiny dot.
Okay.
Everything else is showing. So
In the Japanese Conan the Barbarian adaptation, it's just going to be a dot. It's
a little dot on the axe.
Yeah, it's just going to be shimmering white. It's just going to be brilliant white constantly. So he's like basically just whited out the whole thing. It's like whenever they censor blood and they make it white, so it just looks like cum everywhere.
I don't think that actually is true, though. That's funny that rumor was going around.
The rumor? You mean the screenshots?
No, I don't think that was real. I don't think that the Chinese government actually did that. I think that was just people making fun of their censorship.
Chinese government, they love a cum.
Not that I care. Fuck them. Call Jed, you're fired. The books never get serious about the sex scenes. They just kind of horse around. Call Jed.
That was so good. That scene, the first time seeing that horse. But like that woman became my favorite character.
I hate her.
Oh, she's the fucking best. I love her so much. She's such a bitch.
I hate her. She's so useless.
Oh, I love her so much. She's such a
fucking fire bitch.
She's so fucked in the head. The fucking evil bitch. Oh, I love her. Oh.
She's so annoying. Useless.
I don't know what this horse talk is. I don't want.
There's a goofy horse. There's a very charismatic horse.
Edgy.
There's a very charismatic horse who's trying it on with a lady.
Does he talk?
He does, actually. It's a horse possessed by a demon. Listen, I don't want to spoil this brilliant scene for you, but it's a horse possessed by a demon. Berserk gets wild, in case you didn't know.
There is a one moment in Berserk, which is my actual favorite moment in Berserk, which I think, for me, outranks in emotional weight more than the Eclipse. And I've mentioned this to Irene before, and she thinks I'm stupid. Like, there's the part where there's like the religious extremist people, and they have like a torture room, right? And they're just basically fucking with people and pretending.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
Well, no, it didn't bother me. It's just there's a woman who has a kid, and the kid is like starving to death. And I don't know if she steals some food or she like asks to trade some food or something. She's like getting in trouble because she's trying to feed the kid. And then she's like gonna get punished. And he's like, "Don't worry, it's okay." Like he's basically acting like everything's fine. I would completely understand why you would do this. And like I think the kid gets food, but then whilst he's being like all open, like nice like this, he's basically ushering the mother into the fucking torture room.
Oh yeah.
And you're seeing like people's feet get like burnt off and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, that's horrible." That's not the horrible part. Later on, there's a later scene where the kid is in her arms again, and he actually looks dead. Basically, it just illustrates that like this is just lost. There's no chance. Like this is an uphill battle, and he looks even more starved and desolate before. And this time, she asks to be taken to the torture room, and they let her. And it's like, fuck, man, it's not gonna work, lady. It's not enough. Like, but she still does it, and the kid's got flies around it. It's horrible.
Oh damn, that's cool.
Yeah, it was the most impactful moment in the whole book for me, the whole series for me.
Do you guys ever read Vagabond, the manga?
No,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great when you're not watching grass grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't finish it, but I loved what I read. And there was a part in that where I was like, man, this is good. It was a good example of like manga and what it can do kind of better than American comics a little bit.
Well,
'Cause-
he didn't finish it. The artist
The
famously never
artist, it's
finished it.
not done. Yeah, the
oh
artist is
yeah.
like, I don't feel like drawing it. It's fucking George R.
Yeah.
R.
Well, it's
Martin's
just
Japan.
Oh, I
Miyamoto
forgot about
Musashi's
that for a
life
second.
or whatever. But I don't know.
He's living off those basketball royalties.
Yeah.
I thought you were
But-
making really tasteless jokes about Berserk.
In Vagabond, there's a part where he like needs to keep fighting like better and better people. So he's like, there's this awesome monk that he like visits, and they have to like fight, and they kind of have this respect, sort of or whatever. But it's also kind of like disdain. It's like competition, kind of. And they start
Yeah.
fighting, but they're using wooden weapons. And in the middle of their fight, they like are realizing the fight goes on for like 100 or 200 pages too. Like, but not too much stuff happens. Like they just are fighting. But they realize each other is so good that the only way to find out who's better is to start fighting to the death. But they realize this without telling each other, and they both are just like laying their lives on the line all of a sudden. It's just like so cool. It's so like intense and awesome. Out of nowhere kind of too.
It's
Well,
very
it's like
philosophical and internal.
Yeah.
They step it up, and you're like, you don't know how a new level of collision is going to happen. Like it
Well, I
instantly
think-
creates anticipation, right?
Yeah. I think
Those moments though in a story where it's almost like either when the reader understands, I don't know how to say this in a not stupid way, but when a reader just understands how a character is acting, and you almost don't need to say something. It's just the reader is in their shoes. You understand what brought the mother in Berserk to that point, and you understand what the characters internally are feeling. That's success. That's success as a storyteller, right? It's not just
Right.
external stuff happening. It's everything internally in the characters working.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of these moments are like the peak and a culmination of amazing points that were hit along the way. Just like going back to what you said really early in the show, Narwhal, like the ingredients of an amazing meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have that end product without knowing and taking the time to learn how to craft a character development, plot points, highs and lows of a story, putting them through hell, and then culminating into a moment that is super memorable and hopefully will inspire others to want to do what we do. Like that's really what I'm trying to do. Is I was inspired by amazing creators, and I want to do that for the next generation, hopefully, or generations behind me.
It's a weird feeling it makes in you when you have like you can see that in the distance, right? That goal, and like you kind of know you won't get it, but you kind of like relish the opportunity to chase the whale.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try anyways.
Yeah.
I think I understand that.
And
Like,
when I see other people do that, or stuff like discover new things that give me those chills and goosebumps, it's like, man, that is freaking awesome. And that's props to that person. That's the stuff I want to do. And maybe your big goal is to one day have one of your a couple of your panels from your comic turned into a universal meme that many people
that's
use.
the goal. Those
But that
moments when anyone references it's like tears too, when you know your story is effective, where it's not just, well, yes, the story works on a basic level, art is good, but when people are talking about the characters. I remember the first time I was reading a story and in English, we started talking about the characters in it as if they're real fucking people, like, oh, this or that. We were theorizing on what this character would do in another situation because they were so well written. And when you reach that point as a writer and you see readers doing that, that's amazing. That's one step, but the white whale is that times 1,000, right? That's the same impact that your favorite stories have had on you, and we're all trying to recreate that in some way. But I think that maybe when we're starting out creating our stories, the white whale in our minds is an unattainable goal. But if we're telling stories in a how'd you call it? If we're being honest and we follow through and commit to the actual story we want to tell, I think everyone will express something original. It might not be the white whale that you're aiming for because that's derived from other people. I think you can get to a point where you do invent something new and you're not even aware of it, but you have to follow through to the end of the story and commit and make it the best that you can. And maybe not, but
Yeah.
you could invent something new. You could come up with your own language.
Is the true white whale to simply give other people a glimpse of their white whale?
Oh my god.
Brain exploding me.
Sure, I like that. I mean, I feel like it's different for every creator, but yeah. I mean,
Well, that's none of those moments that you've witnessed that create your white whale that you want to chase. Things you felt that you want to. They give you a glimpse of what your thing you're chasing is.
Right.
The attempts you make to chase that whale then give other people glimpses of what theirs is when they experience it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I think that might be it. That's what I was trying to say with too many words. I think every person's white whale is original to them, but the only universal one is, well, I'm inspiring someone else to do the same, to try, and then I would have achieved my goal because I was inspired the same, just like what Phill was saying.
yeah, Jason Black has a point here. He says, it should be chasing the dragon, chasing a whale is folly. Fool's errand and obsessive waste, chasing the dragon is seeking an elusive high.
the thing is, sometimes it really feels like a fool's errand. Like right now, I feel like I can't do what I want to do, but I know I got to keep going, and then I'll start feeling differently. Like in my creative thing I'm in now, I do feel like a fucking idiot who can't do anything. Is probably, you know, you've got to be okay with the idea of never actually catching it and still chase it.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the grind is too, right? Grinding at it and putting work into it. I think chasing that will ultimately, and grinding on storytelling will ultimately make your other tools, sharpen them while you're trying to hit this goal. Hopefully.
The Howl Comics says chasing fatties is a piece of cake. Not nowadays. They're really full of themselves.
Damn.
Gosh. I think though, even if you don't attain the kind of, I don't know, I think a lot of creators, and we all have, you can't commit hundreds, thousands of hours to doing something and making a comic or writing a novel unless you're a little crazy and you do have some delusions of grandeur. You need to have that. But you also have to realize, because I know some people who have, I like to say, creative paralysis, where something isn't perfect and they're so self-critical that they never put it out because it's not perfect. You have to get past that, because what you also have to realize is, yeah, we all have our delusions of grandeur because we want to create that amazing thing, that white whale, but it is okay if we don't get there. It's sort of this cognitive dissonance that you have to just settle with, because there's still value to whatever you create, even if you don't achieve that holy grail.
Holy whale.
Holy whale. Bing!
Jed says, if I've learned anything from this stream, is that the real white whale is flaming cannibals having horse sex while Gambit dies that we met along the way.
There you go. That's the meme. So that's the meme.
Yes! I can't wait for the meme. This is going to be a good one.
So I'm very grateful that you did this topic, Phill, because this is a discussion that's very inspiring and motivating, but at the same time makes you okay with not achieving what you feel you want to, and like maybe accepting less, but in a way that gets you more.
Yeah, that's the cognitive dissonance
There you go.
that you need to have. But
I'm really just here to make you guys feel better. Yeah.
thank you, Phil. You're
It's
so
okay,
inspiring.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
No, I love this topic because I love stories and I love being excited about stories, and stories get me excited, and that stuff is the stuff that motivates me to try to push myself in storytelling. So that was just kind of the brainwave I was on this week. So wrap that into this, and that's the end of the PowerPoint, I think.
Well, the one thing I
Right.
mentioned at the beginning that I'd thought of because of this topic, and I wasn't sure it was possible with comics, and if we could figure out if it is possible in a movie where you have that crescendo moment and the music builds and basically like everything comes together and it just feels fucking right. Like you get like you feel the energy in your body of this moment of oh fuck. Like
Yeah.
do you think we can do that in this medium where it
Of
feels
course you can.
all
The
encompassing?
problem is people don't try. The
Mm.
problem is people view comics as not on that level, which is absurd because the medium itself is not constrained in its depth and breadth or genre. It's just treated like it is.
No, I think we for sure can, because I've I've witnessed moments like that in novels and audiobooks. And I'm it's not exclusive to any medium. I mean, you guys were just talking about stuff that was in like Witcher video games, and it's all story. So you could do it in any form of storytelling for sure.
The
I
kiss
had-
between Hannah and what was his name, Kenoshi in prison school was that moment for me, but no one else knows. No one else knows.
Stop. Well, now I do. I've been trying to like rack my brain because I know I've read moments like that in manga. So many manga are not done. Berserk isn't done. Fucking Vagabond isn't done. The ending of FMA was one of those moments. It was like that, everything coming together, that crescendo, all the payoffs in one fight scene. That was it. That was good. You can do it in comics.
I kind of think that if you aren't making that, if your ending isn't that, I would feel like I failed.
Yeah,
like-
Yeah, I agree.
you kind of want the audience to feel like a certain feeling at the end of the story, like they are what is like the meta. I mean, I don't know. It's like I know stories that end and you it feels like it didn't end and you don't get the satisfaction. You're like, what the fuck was that? Like you definitely don't. You want to avoid that. So you got to give the catharsis. That's kind of what.
Right.
do.
That's what that catharsis really adds to that.
Yeah.
That's like the payoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Building of the pressure. Yeah.
I might have to go in like 15 minutes, just FYI. Is the meme ready, perchance?
Yeah, Alex, how we doing on the meme?
Hey, it's nearly 3 hours. That is the usual.
The huge.
Well done.
Limiter.
Polisar says I look sad. Why do I look sad? I'm not sad.
It's the thinking face, because it is a full-on feeling of like listlessly dreaming of this goal.
Oh yeah, I guess so, yeah. That really is kind of a you see the end of your story and you're wondering if you can make it as awesome as it feels in your head, right? But you have to try. And that's the thing, some people won't get it. But
Mm.
as long as the majority of your audience gets it and you do your best, it's still worth trying. You have to try.
And I don't think not having a moment like this in a story is a bad thing, because there's awesome films or stories or comics that I love, millions of other people love, that don't have that chills down your spine type moment, right? I think not all stories need that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So I'm sure there's stories we will put out and do that may be a more fun-loving story, or something that has less depth to it. And just because the story is like that, it doesn't mean it's not good or worth reading.
Honestly, that's the internal struggle of the you try and do, sometimes you can try and do something grander, and then you don't feel like you can achieve it, and then you're like, well, I can still have fun with it, and then you have fun for a bit, and then you start longing for the something bigger again.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's maybe you have to decide on one instead of like undulating like a fucking caterpillar.
Well, I feel like that's another thing with what kind of storytelling are you doing? Are you doing long form storytelling? Because there's freaking X-Men issues that are just them kicking a bad guy's ass, but that's one day or weekend in the lifetime of the X-Men. And then, next month they're going to be saving the world from, outer space aliens or whatever, or dying and being resurrected as this crazy cosmic entity. So you could probably find the spots for it if you're doing a long form thing like you're doing with Carnal or Fiendish, where those moments are going to happen. That's why it's so different crowdfunding rather than doing a month to month book like people used to do back in the day, or people do at the big two. I really think that those storytelling tactics are vastly different when you're writing a like full book, like a bande dessinée thing, rather than writing a monthly title. Like, it's two different mindsets that have almost different skills to them.
Agreed. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Jake's in deep contemplation about his life.
I feel like he suddenly he looks like he's just having an existential crisis. This
Well,
whole
it
show
is.
gave him
But
existential.
I totally get you, because it's as a storyteller and comic creation, everything, and being our own publishers and crowdfunding, all this stuff comes down to these very small choices that have monumental results and cataclysm, or not cataclysm, but like results of like, if I turn this way, then I can't go this way. But if I have to make that decision now in the story, so I totally understand your mindset of like, man, if I did it like this, then it's a concrete decision you have to make.
So many things it ripples out too, like
Yes.
butterfly effect. Every decision you make, and this is just like, this absolutely frustrates me, and it's still terrifying every book, because it's this, you realize, especially when you're doing something long form, this is what's kind of scary, very scary,
Right.
because when it's a novel, okay, you don't want to George R. R. Martin it, as in, well, actually, I don't believe he's written himself into a corner. People say he's written himself in a corner. It's fine. I think he just needs time. But, so that's not fair. But I think I do know people who have written themselves into a corner with creating a serialized work where you plant the seeds for what's going to happen next, but then you don't plan enough, or there's contradictions because there's too many points, and you end up not being able to find a way to wrap everything up and tie up all the threads, right? So that's the fear, at least I have, with a long form story. And that's also why I started out real simple with Fiendish, but it's gonna get not simple, because you realize every single decision, not just like, oh, you have to keep track of what every character knows so far. Their dialogue has to be on point. They have to be consistent with their dialogue. Everything that happens going on for the next like 8 books of Fiendish have to echo back to what already has been established. Their abilities have to not only be consistent but grow in a believable way. There's a lot to manage, and every little thing that you fuck up could cause rippling effects.
Yeah, I think that's why like editors and friends that know your material are so important. Like you look at Chris Claremont writing X-Men back in the day, he had 2 editors working with him, you know, that he would talk through stories with. And I watched this documentary about him, and he was like, if I had some loose thread or something I didn't know what to do with, you know, Louise Simonson would be like, hey, remember when you did this? And you could just wrap that into that. And you'd be like, oh yeah, that's another issue that's done, you know?
It's so valuable to have people like that. People
Absolutely,
people who are like interested to know and will ask questions as well. Not just like, go on, tell me then. It's like they're actually they're interested and they ask questions, and then when you give them information, they start connecting stuff that you'd never connected. They're so valuable.
It's valuable, and it's so hard to find because I spent a long time without that, and I do have that now, and I'm so fucking grateful. And I mean, it's not just people who are interested in your story and will read it, but actively will think of how certain aspects can be better and be right about it. And the best place to be as a creator is if you're surrounded by other creatives who are all have different strengths and are all interested in your story. And it's this kind of I mentioned getting feedback and, you know, getting an editor. Yeah, like Phil mentioned, is important, but I honestly think it takes more than an editor. I think having proofreaders, just having other writers to bounce your ideas off of as you work. It does. And I mean, I don't know, maybe they're like genius writers who don't need that. But honestly, I don't really believe that. I think everyone, maybe no. I was talking to Mike Barron, and I don't think like he's at the point where he doesn't need that. But you need experience, at least starting out. Like, I need that feedback because you don't have that. What I realize is a lot of that feedback with like bouncing ideas off of other people who they also like know my story really well. I know what I'm going for, so they give me that right feedback. It's just they're sounding boards for how what I'm thinking sounds to another source, like somebody outside of my head. That's what I need. And I'm sure as you become more experienced, when you reach master writer level, that master writer level is when you have written so much and you understand how people see things from outside your head so well. You don't need that sounding board hardly ever. But at least right now, like I think I need it, and I think most people could use it.
Yep.
For most of their careers.
The feedback opens your eyes. Basically, that's the eye and the hand. The eye and the hand are you training both. The hand is like what you can actually do, like for example, what you could draw or what you could write. Like, oh, I can do this nice little drawing here. But then like the opening your eye is like seeing the flaws that you didn't see before. So that you have to improve your hand to meet the expectations of the eye, and then the eye opens even further, and it's like a constant chasing of the dragon between the eye and the hand. And like getting good feedback opens that eye. Like, okay, giving feedback on like Fiendish, I heard someone else's feedback, and the entire time whilst listening to it, I was like, wait a minute, I noticed all these things too, but I didn't really think they mattered. And then I'm like, and just listening to someone else's feedback, I was like, they do matter though. Fuck. And it was like eye-opening, even hearing someone else giving feedback on someone else's project. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even having feedback on your own, just hearing someone give good feedback on a story in general is also super eye-opening.
Sure.
Just having a critique group where everyone has different strengths is just what you don't even need. But I think that's just naturally happens with different personalities. Just having a group of writers and other artists who can all give feedback to each other is so good. And I mentioned the different strengths because I've noticed that everybody that I will show Fiendish to, like my whole team, everyone has different strengths. So Odin has his strengths. He's very good at character and dialogue. He's not so much visual storyteller, but he's a writer. He's not an artist. That's obvious. But who is good at visual storytelling? My friend AC is really good at visual storytelling, and she'll point that out. And she'll always telling me, how is this scene supposed to feel? She wants like the emotion to come through. And then Nick, my colorist, just has good instincts for how to keep the reader engaged. He's just really good at storytelling because he's a GM, so it's instinctive. Jake is really good at dialogue, so I've gotten really good dialogue suggestions from Jake, and everyone has different strengths, and you need to find those people that can help strengthen your story, because it's your story, but when you bounce what you have off of other people, it polishes what you already have.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So get an editor and some friends.
Yeah, long story short, get friends, make friends. There you go.
But good friends. No, there's a whole principle of like, if you want to improve, find people better than you and hang out with them. Almost naturally via osmosis, you'll start improving, and you won't even know where it comes from. Sometimes it is hard to find them.
It's hard to find because I mean it's not just find other artist friends, because I've been around other comic artists and writers all my life basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't give good feedback. That's just true. A lot of them will read the story just like, oh, I like this. This is my favorite character, or this felt kind of off, but they don't know why, and it's hard for you to fix it when they don't tell you why it felt off. Giving good feedback is a skill.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah,
the memes here. Have you seen it?
Yeah, Alex VRB says, okay, it's not polished, but I posted what I have. Let me pull it up. We'll do a little bonk for Alex. Yes. Here it is.
Oh. Yay! Oh, the mailbox is in there. Hold on, zoom in. Yes.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Well, that looks like Fire Punch guy.
It is. I think that is. Yeah. Naked guy on fire. Dude, Cardinal's naked on the horizon. We're writing the whale. Oh my god. This is wild.
The ornate whale.
I'm very triggered. Very triggered.
Jake.
What is a lot? That's the horse.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's
move on.
He's brimming with charisma.
What is coming out of his mouth?
He's just foaming because he's possessed by a demon. So
his name is Chuck and he's ready to fuck.
Oh my god.
That'd be a good pickup line.
Why is Jake the narwhal? What's happening? Oh, is that narwhal?
No, that's narwhal.
Oh, that's narwhal. I can't tell.
Cardinal.
You're a good guy. And
I wonder what the meaning of the sunset
on the horizon.
Yeah.
There's an eclipse. An eclipse in the sky.
Was that just an artifact? Like, what the fuck was that? I can't tell what that is.
It's the crosshair in the middle. Is it directly in the middle?
We're about to be sacrificed. Yeah, I think that's like the crosshair.
It's probably an eclipse.
Either that or it's the Japanese censorship, the dot.
You should have put the dot in there.
The dot. Maybe there's a dot on Connell.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Zoom in on me. Let me see my accoutrements real fast. Okay, I'm like Napoleon, and then I got
Narwhal
a
hat?
narwhal hat and a rainbow.
Or are you getting eaten by a narwhal?
That's so funny.
You're like a novel Rastaman.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
the hat. That's awesome. Let's see what people are saying here. We got Irene riding the ornate white whale.
White whale. Everyone's white whale is personal to them. Confucius say. You see everything except a tiny little dot.
There you go. It's the dot. Coming up behind Irene.
Japanese women have naturally pixelated vaginas.
That is how it works.
That's how they look. If you've ever had sex with a Japanese woman, it's just it looks
It's all
like that.
blurry down there.
Looks like what? Oh yeah.
Is the true white whale to simply give other people a glimpse of their white whale?
Yeah, that was the most
Those stories,
profound.
right?
That was some deep thought you were in.
You opened the well to bring up that bucket of bollocks.
Narwhal's here without a boat.
You got to give the catharsis. Never seen it. Next.
That was
Have you never? Have you actually not seen Back to the Future 3?
Next.
Perfect.
Here you go. This is a good one. An unquenchable fire that an old Japanese man put upon you.
That's great.
Yeah, I feel like that's Fire Punch, right? That's basically
Yeah, the guy's not Japanese though. The fire guy is white.
what? How can you tell?
They all look white. Every
Yeah,
single
they're all.
one
Everyone in
looks
Fire
white.
Punch is like Russian or something. They're not Japanese.
Oh, it takes place in Russia.
Oh, you mean he has a nose? He's drawn with a nose.
No, the names sound Russian.
Okay, Rushevich. My name is Bartoshnikov Rushtovich.
Markov.
Yeah, something like that. If it's not Russia, it's Germany because everything anime is set in Germany.
My name is Hans VP.
Well, there you go. Yeah, poignant. Hey, also, Well Read was in the stream earlier. I don't know if he's here, but he misused the word poignant in his stream tonight. And I tried to correct him and said he meant to say pertinent, but then I accidentally spelled permanent, and then I looked like an idiot. So.
Oh, you can redeem yourself now.
Yeah.
Hope he's still here.
I don't want to insult Well Read, but there's a perfect play on his name.
Well Read.
Loser.
Well Read he's doing reviews again. He did Mike
I'm
Barron.
a loser.
No, but it's perfect. It's a. If you can make a joke version of someone's name, it's funny. He isn't at all. It's just
call him a loser.
Yeah, Walred is cool.
Yes, he
Oh my
is.
God, Jake.
How dare you?
It automatically came into my head.
More like hyper wizard.
Jake has the silken dream.
There we go.
Jay Ryan said the white whale is inside of us all. There you go. Perfect ending.
Quick,
Yes.
get a knife.
Beautiful meme. I always love them. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you guys for being here. Narwhal has to leave. I like
Good
I like
show.
Narwhal's
Very good show.
camera.
I want to confirm I do like Well Read, and that was just a play on words.
I
That
know.
was-
We know.
Cinematography.
I
Need to
don't want him
make
to
you
feel
feel bad.
bad.
More like well read doesn't know what poignant means.
Well, you don't know how to spell.
User.
Nailed it.
Nobody knows what poignant means. Poignant. The word
How
poignant
dare-
vexes me.
I've heard more people misusing the word poignant, Phil, and they
Hi,
didn't even
Dillard.
use it. They didn't even use it the way we were using it.
Yeah.
They just meant it to mean important.
Yeah, everybody thinks that's what it means.
Yeah.
In 100 years, that's what it'll
It
mean.
just means the end of Columbo. That's all it means.
One more thing.
What's up, Dillard? Good to see you, bro.
Yo.
All right, I guess we're ending the stream now.
Oh, what? No, I
Yeah,
suppose we can still hang out.
We did.
I'm in a
You
really
guys can
good
hang if
mood.
you want. The
I gotta work.
the second half was kind of the first half for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind
Yeah.
of, we went on for a while.
Um,
It was,
Go
it was
bid
good though.
on-
It was a good show.
go bid on my dick book.
Yeah. Everybody bid on Carnal number 69. I'm going to pull it up right here. I have it right here to show off. Let's see here.
Preview book, preview art book. Look at that. Look at that. Nail biting graphic. Look at the tension and pressure in that image.
This is Jake's white whale that you're buying.
Number 69. So he's doing his awesome preview book. This is number 69. There's only 36 views in the last 24 hours, which is kind of good.
That's 36 people have looked at it during the stream. That's great.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, obviously the way eBay works, I'm launching next week. This is a preview book that I made for conventions. I'm only doing 100 of them numbered, but I decided to put some of them. I'm going to put some of them up on a campaign, like 50 of them, so that the chat gets a chance to get their hands on it too. So it's not just like, I'm taking it to a convention. Fuck you all. So next week I'm launching the book, but that's when this auction will end. So it's like a 7-day auction. All this week people can get in on it. I can build hype, and then like it'll basically come to a close during the launch rather than doing an auction on stream. That can be a bit of a clusterfuck. So yeah, hopefully there's at least 3 bids by the time that it closes.
Yeah, by next week. So bid, guys, this book has art by Michael Bancroft in it, Michael Rushbrook, Jake Phill Diaz art in it. Look at that. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it has a whole fan art section. There you go. Look, there's Bancroft right next to Phil's. I don't know. One of them is making the other one seem even better than it would on its own somehow. And I, it's a shame that Bancroft has to support your piece. He probably wishes for something else. But
you could bid here for a week, and then it'll close next week on the show, and then it'll launch the campaign for convention special. It's gonna be awesome.
I've been working on it today.
Creative Luck next week on my channel, where we will be launching Jake's campaign and also talking about story stuff.
Yes.
Oh shit! There's 3 bids already.
Make sure you are subbed to all our channels. Let me do a little refresh here. Yes. Oh yeah, it says 3 bids. Awesome. It already updated.
Yay! Yeah. Back the campaign when it does go live as well. So Jake will run out of 100 copies before the convention even begins, and he'll be in crisis mode and won't know what to do. But yeah, buy those books. It's a good book.
No,
worth a lot of money in 10 years.
On the campaign, they're all super limited. They're all limited amounts.
Yep.
Okay. All right. If you say so. Are you? I don't mean to cut you off. Are you good?
Me?
Oh, okay. I was gonna pull up the shop. Thank you, Phil. I just want to shout out something in the shop. I added stuff. Yay! Why is it so zoomed in? Oh my god!
So many people have been
Zoom out.
I actually looked into. I gotta freaking add a Printful thing to my site, but I've been looking into stuff. But what's new in the shop?
Well, as you can see, you can get all 3 Fiendish books at the top. I'm still catching up on orders. I have a ton and like 100 store orders to ship. But yeah, we're catching up on that. And the new stuff in the shop though is, if you can, por favor, scroll down to the apparel section. I edited the Tumblr as well because the Tumblr was kind of janky. Just so people know, I apologize. The Tumblr, I have it, the way it printed meant it flaked. I changed it. I fixed it. But that's not new. That's just me fixing my fuck up. I have these new wraparound or all over print, not wraparound tank tops. So those two. So it's front and back, all over print. I love all over print stuff, and that's available on the store. And I added the skull shield design as well. So that's the first time I made a shirt with that. It's women's sizes. I mean, I guess you can get a XL and a guy can wear it too, but it's supposed to be women's sizes. Also, there's a bomber jacket. So I have a leather jacket. I made a bomber jacket version. So there you go. Yay! I have tons of merch and apparel stuff.
Freaking cool. I gotta do this.
Check it out. Yeah, Printful is great. I love their service. You can make everything because I don't need to warehouse any of this. It's print on demand.
Who's Oliver though?
Oliver?
Yeah,
Oliver.
Oliver Print.
Yeah, you keep printing him. Who is he?
Oliver, I don't know. I guess he's just an awesome guy who makes these shirts from scratch, spins the cotton himself.
That's the guy who owns
Good
the
guy.
fucking. That's the guy who owns the fucking factory. I'm Oliver Print, and welcome to my factory of all over print. So
He's 3 foot
Amazing.
tall. He's a little.
Puns.
He's like Rumpelstiltskin.
He is Rumpelstiltskin. Oh yeah, also Fiendish 2 is. I've been doing a lot of stuff these past couple weeks, guys. Fiendish 2 is up on Global Comics.
Yes,
So
you need to do Global Comics too.
yeah,
There's so much to do.
yeah. If you head to read the comic and hit chapter 2, the link is right there.
Oh, this
So
week
I
I
have
need to
everything is linked.
I need to upload. I need to see if I can give everyone who buys a book a code to be able to read it all on Global Comics. I need to try doing that this week and see if it's possible.
Fuck you too. That's who my friends are for. But yeah, everyone go head over to Fiendish on Global Comics and give me a read and a like.
Hell yeah.
It's all on there.
And then for Lost Pages 3, all US books are shipped and out. Shirts are as well. If you guys missed out on anything, we still have the campaign up. Probably close it in like a couple weeks or sometime in July, because we're going to do another campaign for the next book super soon. And international stuff is going out this weekend where everything's packed. We're just labeling things. And then I think there's only like 4 international statues and shirts that are going to go out. So those will be in bigger boxes. And then statues we're packing also this weekend for everybody that grabbed one. So next week, everything should all be out in the post office. And stay tuned. We're going to start talking about the next book. People were talking about crossovers in the chat earlier, and we mentioned it. It's going to be that awesome Kill Journal Lost Pages crossover that I might have. Let me see. I think I might have a little sneak peek. I had to do the print file stuff for this, so it's going to be in black and white. So here's a little sneak peek on that. It's going to be kick-ass. We're doing a preview book for that, and then the full 60-page graphic novel for the Psycho Slumber book, and that'll be we're planning on crowdfunding it on Indiegogo and then also on Kickstarter. Adam's going to crowdfund Kickstarter, and we will crowdfund on Indiegogo, and I think we're going to have multiple covers as well, which I'm super excited about. But it's going to be kick-ass. So if you guys read Lost Pages 3 and really dug Jazz and Crim in there, they're going to be in a bunch more action in this new book. So can't wait for that. Rolling out more stuff. Keep creating. Never stops. It never stops.
Chase your white whale.
Yeah.
Make peace with never catching it and decide to chase it anyway.
Yeah,
That's
motivation,
right.
guys. Motivation.
Yes.
Narwhal, what's up with you? Oh, did he leave?
He's betting on sports.
He just still have his eBay store.
Yeah.
He's got his eBay store. Link is in the description still. And I wanted to know how his basketball game was going.
Are you winning, son?
Here it is. Here's his eBay store. Where is it? Here. Look at this young, spry
that
narwhal.
picture that doesn't even look like narwhal. It's so weird.
There's no beard.
Hey,
Back.
what's up? I still haven't left yet. I will.
Did you? How's your basketball game?
Good. We won, so we go to the finals now.
Hell yeah!
Who would have thought? I told you,
$3,000.
it's crazy. It's crazy the journey, being this invested, imagining what these players go through, because to win one series is like so emotionally challenging. That's why some teams lose, because they'll get to a certain point, and that's what happened to the Timberwolves. They made it to the Western Conference Finals, which is like the Final Four,
Yeah.
But they had beaten last year's champions to get there in a 7-game series, so they won a game 7, and you could just tell they're like emotionally exhausted from that battle, and they had won and it was amazing, but they were like done at that point, and then the Mavericks beat them, but the Mavericks are still going.
Yeah, a lot of sports is psychological. It's a mental game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's new with you? What are you doing next?
There'll be a Kickstarter or like some crowdfunds either later this summer or the fall, at least Nosferatu. I'm kind of laying low for a little bit. I want to get a little bit ahead on Earthbound and some other stuff. And Earthbound will be fulfilling soon too. And I don't know. I got today there's a discussion from time to time that where I'll have some some people that don't like my art, and then some people coming to defend me that do like my art.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's always interesting, and I guess I encourage it. But it's a tale as old as time. Like from the very beginning, people have been, my art kind of splits people. But I'm a big defender of my art. I think it's good.
I would hope so.
As you should be.
Yeah.
You have a unique and energetic style. Your style is all about the energy.
The Energon Cube.
Yeah. I think we might be entering a new era too, where my style is like a little even more like more people willing to take it for a ride kind of thing. I think we're kind of entering what the early 90s were a little bit as far with the independent spirit.
Yeah.
People, it's kind of coming back. And what I think the audience, what they like when that happens is they like risk takers, and they like kind of the independent shit. They like, they don't care. Like a good example is Clerks. Like the ultimate indie movie in some ways. And it has a huge risk too, but he maxes out a credit card and makes Clerks, shoots it on 16mm black and white film. So if you watch that movie, like in the era of like Marvel, like superhero movies, when you're not in an independent spirit era, you watch that movie and you're like, oh, it sucks, it's bad. But if you watch it in an independent spirit era, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. So it's weird. It's all like the era you're in. It's like what the mentality that people take into the art, and I think that's changing. I think the audience is ready for some of this shit to go down. So
yeah.
I'm
looking forward to.
Shit.
I was just gonna say, well, yes, that comics boogaloo. Let's go. Your Percival book, though, I think I'm looking forward to seeing your traditional style because it's a little different, and I like it. It's more detailed.
Thanks. Me too. I want to keep exploring that and messing with that. And I had one random thought the other day I'll share with you guys is that for the independent movement, I remember in the past I would compare myself to the worst of the mainstream and be like, I'm better than that. I should be mainstream. But that's kind of a form of cope. I've realized now is like, we need to compare ourselves to the best of the mainstream. And then if you do that, you're like, oh, we actually still need to like keep getting better.
You know what's real motivating, but also slightly oppressive. Not even comparing yourself to American comics, but what comics are selling the most in the entire world right now?
Yeah.
How do we get there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's inspiring. And it is manga, of course. Take a shot. I'm talking about manga, but it's everything. It's the story, business, and not just the art as well. It's all inspiring.
The manga thing, it's stories that are successfully having slower paced setups, but then they pay them off. That's why.
That's why I like it. They figured out a way to tell these long form stories, but the setups take so long. But I think it works because that's what I noticed with manga, and the characters are so good. They're so engaging, and they perfected the art of engaging your audience. And I think that's the key. Because the story doesn't need to be revolutionary. You just need to engage the audience.
They make characters that it's almost like from an episodic point of view, and they have the micro and the macro work. Like the chapter to chapter works in one sitting, but then they manage to build it up to the big payoffs. But then they create characters. It's like what Noel said before about the embarrassment of riches. They create characters that even though stuff has been paid off, you still see a million possibilities for what else could be done. That's why I think that's why it's successful.
Yeah.
But then people go, "Oh, it's just big eyes and
Not at all. It's so much more. It's really it's the characters.
Like if
It's
that
nothing
should
to
take
do with
away,
the big eyes.
then that's like where your
We'll do it.
artist eye is at.
Oh, whatever.
I mean, what Jake, what you just said about manga is, episodic, self-contained stories that you could read, but also has big overarching payoffs and stuff like that. That's how like old classic X-Men stuff was, and that's why I think it was so popular. It was one writer writing it for 16 years straight,
Oh, yeah, you need to get to that. That's interesting because I feel from the way, because I don't read superheroes, but the way a lot of older comic or fans who have read older comics talk about specifically X-Men, but some American comics from that period, it sounds like it's just like manga. And it's because you have one writer being able to just grow a story for so long. You don't have that anymore.
Yeah, they really screwed themselves for switching a writer on a series like every month.
Yeah. I gotta be getting going here. So
all right,
I'll see you guys later. Is next
Good luck.
Your
next
place
week, Irene's.
cool?
On mine. Yep, my next week. Good luck on your game.
We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Check out all the links. Make sure you go and bid on that 69 Carnal scrapbook that Jake is putting out, and we'll get back to that next week. Jake is gonna stream next week as well before the creative block. I'll be on tomorrow. I have a big box that I'm gonna do an unboxing. Shelby Robertson sent me a package. We'll be streaming that on the Diaz Brothers tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. And are you doing your stream tomorrow, Irene, with Allie?
No, not tomorrow. Wait, are we? No, yes, we are. Yes, sorry. We skipped last week, so we're streaming tomorrow. It's going to be on Allie's channel. Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to leave you guys with a little song. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is something that is it's the song from Once Upon a Time in the West. I don't think we'll get struck because this is live, but it's ominous and badass. So
nice.
Ooh, all right, let's go. Bye.
Yep.
Look, it's Irene.
Yeah,
just like me. It's like looking in a mirror.
This guy.
First, the mouse hunt. Water
so
scene.
cool.
Now this.
That reminds me, there's like a symphony version of this Vikings song. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. This is nice.
They're waving a stick to some guy blowing on a harmonica. Come on.
Peak culture. This is where it's all led.
Look at this lady.
That's not.
What she's doing. They're all just humoring her. Like, yeah.
You think she's important? She doesn't need to be there.
She won the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
We don't need conductors. What the fuck are they for, anyways?
She has reverse Asian aging. She's actually like.
They just stand in the middle and pretend to be important.
There's actually just like some fly that she's trying to swat. She's Yoko.
I wonder, like, have you guys ever played in an orchestra? I don't think anybody looks at the fucking conductor. You're just focused on playing your own damn music.
Yeah, what are they really doing, right?
Yeah, completely useless.
They're all looking at her.
This does sound really nice.
Even making shitty jokes, it shuts you up.
Majestic.
This is captivating.
Majestic.
It's still not reaching the level that one song that's like the wedding song or the funeral song or something that gets epic that we never knew because you never listened that far into it. What was that? Jake was playing it. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the funeral song for our show. I
Yeah.
have never seen a harmonica in an orchestra. This is great.
Because it's Western Philharmonic.
Well, the harmonica is like a set. It's a plot point of the film. So the main character carries the harmonica and he plays this weird tune ominously throughout the film to like creep the bad guys out.
That's so
freaking
funny.
Awesome.
I've heard this tune before, but I've never seen the movie.
It's so good. All right. Well, this is another song from the movie, but yeah, everybody watch the movie.
Good show, yeah.
Bye,
I loved
everybody.
it. Good night.